All right, you guys, can you hear me? We had a problem where let's see. Checking. Cool. Looks like you guys can hear me now. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I think YouTube was just having a glitch out, and was just not connecting. So let me get reorganized here. You might be the only one on, Lance, because we had everyone dropped. Hopefully everyone will redirect though. Let me get some water. This is the joys of doing it live because I get no retries. I can't cut anything out. Let's see. Of course, thanks Lance, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everyone who's tuning in before. Let me know if you guys are coming on. Let me know. I can't see the viewer count on my screen currently. Let me know. Send something in the chat so I know you're on, and let me evaluate if I need to share up a post. Only 3. Okay, well, let's see. Let me just redirect this really quick. Bear with me for 1 second, guys. Okay. Okay, go back to the studio. Let me just write up this. Okay. All right. Put up a post letting people know what happened. So hopefully more people will start coming in. All right, you guys. Sorry about that. So sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. On my end, it showed that I was still streaming, and then I just started getting your guys' chat saying that we're all dropped and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, no. So figured it because it was so early in the morning there. I mean, that could be too. Yeah, it's definitely not fun. Then I woke up sick today, and then I got a late start to everything, and oh man, it was brutal. But anyways, we're here. Super excited to have you guys. Thanks you guys for bearing with me and sticking around. And let's get back into these photos. So we ended on Sebastian's image over here of a seal catching a fish out of water. So this was a super cool image. Let's keep moving on. So let's go to next Paul Pantarilla's image. He was in the chat before, so I hope he joined back on. But Paul's image, man, this was awesome. This was a favorite of mine for sure too. New photographers category. I think what really sells this image is just the intense amount of color all throughout this image. The color is just so gorgeous. You got like these greens and blues and kind of like rusty oranges almost kind of spread throughout this image, and then the yellows of the actual hornlark face, and then kind of the orange leaves around it. And so just fantastic color scheme in this image. So great job, Paul. If you wind up watching this later, fantastic job. Thanks for joining us at least earlier on. Yeah, fantastic image, Paul. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you, Jonal. Yeah. This was another one by Paul Pantarilla. This one also actually made the finalists. So his previous one made the finalists, this one as well. This one, really what the selling point I think of this image is the little chick in the wing. So you have this chick right here under the wing of the California quail. Very easy to miss unless you're really looking for it. So that was a very cool image, very cool moment for him to capture, and super cool to see. So fantastic job, Paul, in this image as well. Had some good images. This was another one by Paul Pantarella. Yeah, this was a fantastic image as well. Love the shot here. Really, I think what sells the image is how dark it is all around it, but also the light just specifically hitting the subject. I think that's really the coolest part of this image, is it feels very much just all the colors in one spot. It does not allow your eyes to kind of differ from that or misinterpret what you're supposed to be looking at. It's very clear and very cool and very well standing out. So very solid image here. Yeah, so very cool. Love the stuff. Oh gosh, I keep doing that. Love the stuff in the chat, guys. This is one by Chanakan Boonsung Noen. I am probably pronouncing that really wrong, but very cool image by Chanakan of a mallard on some sort of deck, probably like an oceanside deck or a pond or a lakeside deck. And very, very cool image here. I think really what sells this image is actually, at least for me, the colors in the waves in the background, just phenomenal. Like that, the colors you get, that white mixed in with the blue, and it goes deep blue all the way to bright white. And I really, really like that, as well as a very cool pose by the mallard. So great shot, Chanakan. This is an image by Silvio Voltaza. Very cool image. I believe this is a bittern. Looks like a bittern to me. And so very cool image, Silvio, of this bittern. And I think what really makes this image cool is that it feels like it's set in an environment. Like the way that it's surrounded by all the leaves is very, very interesting, very intriguing and appealing, and really shows the secrecy of a bird like this that is so secret and so hard to find and capture often. So great job as a new photographer, Silvio. Thanks, you guys, for joining back in. Good contrast, great contrast in this image. Thanks for joining back in to the chat, guys. Thanks for joining back into this. We got redirected, or we're redirecting all the audience over here, so it probably killed our viewership, unfortunately. But hope you guys are choosing to rejoin us. And if you're watching this post the live, check out the first part of this live in my past videos. So we have a part 1, and then this is the part 2. The part 1 will be the first 30 minutes of this, where we also brought on Lance Chenault, popular vote winner of the Bird Burger Awards. So make sure to check that out. This is again by Silvio Voltaza, again with a type of heron. So this looks like, oh man, I don't know what type of heron that is. Yeah, I am not sure. That's a very interesting pattern. Almost looks like a great blue, I wanted to say, but I don't think that is great blue. But yeah, very cool image here. I think what sells this again is apparently Silvio's love for putting them in an environment. So very cool how it's kind of amidst the grasses and the reeds and the flowers. And so very cool image here. Great job, Silvio. Another image by Silvio Voltaza. This is one of 2 sandpipers. Let's see, are these might be solitary sandpipers? I might be rusty on that. But yeah, very cool image regardless. And very cool capture. It feels like it's all very, very gray, very moody here. So I think that's really the part that pops about this image. So this is an image by Seda Dunham. And a very cool image by Seda Dunham of a tufted puffin in kind of taking off out of the water with a fish in its mouth. Super cool moment, super cool action shot. Did a great job of freezing the action, so that's tricky to do. And I think the coolest part about this is it feels like it's really running on water, in the sense of you can see that kind of the webbed foot here right down there, and you can kind of just see it just barely beneath the water, and how he's using that to kind of run and lift off the water. So very cool job in that shot. Great job, Seda. This was an image in the finals. So this was an image by Eric Anderson. Great isolated shot of a golden plover here against a very clean background in a very cool setting where he's kind of standing on top of some tundra or maybe a bush. Not quite sure, but very, very cool image. And it feels like you're kind of with him in the sunrise, in the morning light in this image. So this was a fantastic shot. Very well done. And great job. Great job, Eric. All right. Let's see. Let me get this adjusted really quick. Got this messed up earlier. There we go. Next image, again by Eric Anderson. This is an image of a J, and I believe is this a Canada J? I might be wrong on that. But a very cool image. I like how there's a lot of really interesting light here. I like how you have the interesting kind of darkness of the light in the top and the bottom of the background, but then you have that strip of kind of bright sunrise lighting or sunset lighting in the middle area of the background. So very cool shot there. A cool pose as well, and I like this image. So good job, Eric. And lastly, another image by Eric. This one also made the finals and actually won the popular vote for the new photographers category specifically, was this image of the two great crested grebes. So this is the most popular image as voted by the viewers in the new photographers category. Great crested grebes. Super cool to see this kind of moment taking place, this action, and very cool intimate story being shared and told here. So great job, Eric. And fantastic kind of story that you were able to share there. So congratulations on winning the popular vote in the new photographers category once again. Yeah, great image, beautiful animals, and beautiful image. Thanks you guys for joining in. If you're just joining in again, this is the second part. We had kind of an error, so we are starting a little bit later. So make sure you go watch back the other live and let us know in the chat kind of where you're watching from, and let us know your thoughts on these images. Feel free to share this encouragement. Whoever's watching later on or currently can wind up seeing their image and what people thought of it. So anything is welcome to be shared. So this is an image by Patrick Coate of a flycatcher. This one also made the finals, and I think really what sells this image is just how clean it is. It is very tack sharp. I don't know how well you can tell that through YouTube. It is so tack sharp on the flycatcher itself, and then the background is just so kind of angelically and heavenly blurred out. So very, very good job. Very good colors in this image, and a fantastic shot there by Patrick. This was another image by Patrick that also made the finals of a yellow warbler. This was a great image as well. I like this one even personally more than the last one, largely because the subject is so prominent in this one and stands out and pops really well. And so great job on this yellow warbler, capturing such a cool kind of color contrast between that and the green, as well as the beak open is just a really nice little extra touch on top, the frosting on top of the cake. So great job there. I love the green tones as well on this one. Fantastic image. Such a great contrast. Yep. Cool. Another one by Patrick Coate is another one of a belted kingfisher. Very cool image here as well of the belted kingfisher. I like kind of the isolation on the kingfisher. The look up towards it actually kind of works okay in this scenario, where it kind of makes it feel a little bit more powerful because you're looking up on it. So I like this image as well. Great job, Patrick. Patrick had some solid images. And yeah, great use of vignette. Patrick seems to like to use the vignette and contrast between the bird and environment. So good job. Another one by Patrick Coate. So another one of a belted kingfisher. And again, using that kind of vignette. And with the perch standing off on the perch, I like how the perch kind of goes from the right third of the frame in the bottom to ending on the left third. I think that's a kind of unique way that this perch approaches the frame. And the kingfisher and the composition is really good here. So great job on that, Patrick. Another one by Patrick Coate. And yeah, this is one of a blue jay. So very cool image. I think this one is really sold by the exposure kind of contrast in the image, as well as the lighting or the color difference between the blue and the green once again. So I really like how this one pops really well because of those different levels of lighting in the image and the lighting contrast, but specifically in the eye is really, really beautiful in this shot. So I love the eye in this blue jay image, and I think that's really the selling point for me. So great job, Patrick. And again, by Patrick Coate. This is one of a European starling. Yeah, the eye detail in the last one. Just phenomenal. Great job on that one. This is another one by Patrick Coate. European starling. Feather detail in this one is phenomenal. I think the really big selling point of this image. Starlings always feel so sharp to me, at least. I really feel like their feathers, when they fluff up, you know, they feel so sharp and pointy and almost like a porcupine. I think he captured that really well in this image. And one of the other cool compliments is that the background leaves and the leaves surrounding it also feel very sharp and pointy, which is really cool. Kind of a subliminal compliment to the pointiness of this bird. So very cool there. And yeah, Blue Jays are so cool. I'm the same. I'm the same, Jimmy. I wish I could photograph Blue Jays. We don't got them anywhere on the west side of the United States. So, but yeah, super cool. All right, so moving on, new person. So now we got Richard Pluger, with an image of a maybe a cottontail here or a rabbit. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, regardless, very, very cool image. I like how he's kind of standing out amidst the flowers. So I think that's really the selling point of this image, is kind of the scene that's being set here. And then you have the darkness of the overgrowth behind him. That leads to a really cool kind of scene being set up where he's almost out in a meadow and you kind of feel like you're out in a meadow with him against the darkness of the woods behind him. So very cool image here by Richard. This is an image by Sebastian Simonson, and this is an image of two house sparrows, and very, very cool to see this here. The two house sparrows are kind of, foraging together. I like that about this image. I think that's really one of the selling points about it, is kind of their framing together. And then as well as, this is a really nice body positioning on the one that's in focus as well. So good job there. Great job getting eye level as well. A must for an image like this. And great job, Sebastian. So this is an image by a guy named Brody Stuflet, or Stuflet, new photographer category still. This is of a beaver swimming out on probably some sort of lake, something like that, swamp, and very, very cool shot here of the elusive beaver. So cool image here, and I think the lighting is also what really kind of sells this image. The lighting is really nice against the water and on the beaver itself. So very cool shot there. Here's an image by a guy named Brett Gallagher. And yeah, very, very cool image here. I like this one. This is kind of similar to one of the ones we had before. Really, the only color in the image is coming from the light, from the sun. And I really like how it's all hitting on the loon. Everything else is really gray around it. So that's a very interesting take on this image as well. And I think the selling point here. So great shot, Brett. This is an image of a bald eagle by Brett Gallagher still. I think the selling point on this one really is the colors. Such a cool mix of colors in this image, and yeah, and very, very cool to see the colors that are mixed in with the background here to this majestic bird. So yeah, very cool to see. I also noticed that Paul Pantarelli, you're also in the chat once again. I think you were out when we went through your images earlier. So I'll go back to them really quick, just say really quick what I liked about them, since you've been tuning in for this chat, so I don't want you to miss out on it. But yeah, great shot here, Paul. This was personally actually maybe my favorite image of the new photographers category personally. I loved the color mix in this shot. I think that's really an interesting mix. You never get to really see blue, green, and this rusty orange kind of all mixed in together, and then you have the accent of yellow on the hornlark face and in the leaves itself. So I think that really appealed to me about this image, is how softly and how nicely all those colors mix in. So great stuff there, like I shared with everyone before. And then I'll talk about your other image that also made it into the final really quick, what I liked about it. This image, I think the attention to detail is just really what sold this image, right? With the chick under the wing. I think that, yeah, if the rest of the image would have been able to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, this image would have been, right up there, possibly as a placement. But the detail of the chick under the wing is so cool. Like the way that you capture that is very interesting, very intriguing, and very well done. So very cool. And yeah, great job, Paul. Only got to see this bird once and had to hike up a hillside. That's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw a horned lark too, I was so excited. Horned larks are cool birds, even if they are like in certain areas common. Other areas are not. Like for me, it's also the same. Like it's a pretty cool treat when I get to see one, but some areas I know they are common, but man, they are a cool bird regardless. So very cool. So going back, this with Brett Gallagher's image, this is still on Brett Gallagher on this image of a hooded merganser, and very, very cool image of the hooded merganser here. I really like the colors surrounding the bird as well. The scene being set is very cool. And yeah, I love this shot as well. Great job, Brett. Another one by Brett Gallagher, and this is probably my favorite shot of his. I love the sparkles you get in the droplets on the face of the loon. Man, those just look so nice. Really, this image feels shiny, kind of almost like a diamond in a way, very shiny and sparkly, and I think that's what really sells this image very well, is the very, very beautiful lighting that you have in this image. So great job, Brett, on this image of the common loon in breeding plumage. And the last image of the new photographers category, also by Brett Gallagher, are these two images, or these two northern flickers in the image. And yeah, I like this image quite a bit. Their interaction here is really cool and really what sells the image in my opinion. And yeah, is a very solid image. And I love how you get to see all the little details in their tail feathers, because flickers have such cool tail feathers. Northern flickers do, at least. And yeah, they have such cool intricate details in all their feathers that it really looks really nice. So great job there, Brett, and super cool to see that. So you guys, that wraps up the new photographers category. Sorry about the problems we had with the last live. So we'll be hopping into the next section here. So we'll be hopping into creative category next. But again, if you're just tuning in, this is the second live that we have going on. We had, for some reason, some error where it just froze up the whole live in the first live stream. So we had to kind of restart up on a new one. And hopefully you guys are able to tune in on this one or follow up on this one. And if you haven't seen the first part already, make sure to go back and check that out. We also interviewed the popular vote overall winner of the Bird Burger Awards. So that was really cool getting to have Grant on really quick. And yeah, Grant's a great guy. So make sure to check out the quick interview we had with him. And no problem, Stefano. Hopefully you were here, Stefano, for when we showed your images in the new photographers category. Yeah, if you weren't, make sure to go back and check out what we mentioned about them. So anyways, thanks you guys again for coming on. We're going to be moving into the creative category. So let me pull that up. All right. I would have had, if there weren't so many images, I would have prepared this live a little bit better and having them formatted really nicely on screen and stuff, but there was just no way I was going to do that with 300 images. It would have taken me like 12 hours just to get them nicely formatted. So instead I'm kind of doing a little screen recording thing. So I apologize for that, guys, but yeah, just the way it is. There was no way I was going to do this otherwise. So yeah. All right. So now we're going back into the images. All right, so this is the creative category that now we are back in. And excited to show these ones off. So this was the creative category. We had the least amount of images submitted to this category. So we had, I think like 30% the images in this category as opposed to every other category, a lot less. So anyways, let's hop into this now. So starting off with Kyle Nelson. So Kyle Nelson and his image of, again, whatever this was, the cloud leopard that I think someone mentioned earlier in the chat. So this was a cloud leopard, super cool image here as well. Very cool kind of pose going on, very cool action here with the tongue sticking out. So cool shot here. Again, Kyle Nelson with the tiger here. I think the coolest part about this image is the drool that's kind of dripping from the tiger's cheek. Makes it really interesting, really unique. So very cool shot here by Kyle as well. Very dark and moody and cool here. And lastly, my favorite shot by Kyle is this one with the tiger looking up. I like this one because it feels a little bit more like you're peering into his world. Kind of something that, like Lance said earlier, where it feels like you're kind of more witnessing him in his natural environment. You're kind of looking down on him in this place. And it looks like there's some sort of story being told by the tiger looking up into the trees. So very cool image here, Kyle, and great job on all your shots. All right, now we're hopping into Rick Evans here. So this is Rick Evans, who submitted an image of a great blue heron with a fish in its beak. Man, what's cool about this image is the fins that are highlighted here and backlit by the sun. And you have kind of that lighting from the sun in the background, as well as that very cool, oddly shaped sun in the background right at sunrise coming over the clouds, or right at sunset going down beneath the clouds. So very, very cool image here. And I like kind of just the uniqueness of this image. There's a lot of unique aspects of this image, whether that's the action going on with the fish being caught, whether that's the backlighting on the fins, or whether that's that beautiful sun in the background, and also kind of the scenic shot, and great depth, like Moto mentioned in the comments. Next image, also by Rick Evans. Let's see what's going on. Okay, So we got Rick Evans still here with the common yellow throat. Beautiful colors in this image. I think that's really what sells this image. You have purples, you have pinks, you have greens, you have like yellows, you have oranges. Man, there are so many blues. There are so many different colors in this image that really makes this image feel like it's like this rainbow kind of mix of colors. So I think that's really where the creativity shines in this image, and very, very good job, Rick. Rick's an awesome photographer. And so great job, Rick, and fantastic color palette that you captured in this image. So very cool to see. Another image by Rick of a grackle bathing. Love the stuff that you guys are submitting in the chat, by the way. Hopefully anyone who sees these, will be able to see your guys' chat, your comments that submitted to the awards if they're not here live with us already, or if they are live here with us. So feel free to encourage people, send, as many things you like about photos in the comments as you want. This is again by Rick Evans, grackle bathing. I think what really sells this image is all the awesome kind of droplets we have flying around during the bath, right? As well as these sparkles in the water. These sparkle kind of I don't know what they're called, bokehs. There's another word I'm looking for that I'm not being able to process right now in my brain, but the way that the sparkles are kind of shining out and have all those fingers to them is really, really cool. And it's a very small detail that you might not be able to see too well on YouTube, but very, very cool about this image and what I like so much about it, as well as all the rainbow colors of the bokeh down here. So very cool shot here. This is an image by Max Gindel. This is actually another wildlife photography YouTuber, a young dude. And I think he's like 14 or something, out of Germany. Yeah, very, very cool here. I like the backlight in this bird in flight shot. Starburst, yes, that's what I was looking for in the previous shot. Thanks, Lance. But yeah, back to Max's image. Yeah, great shot here. I love the backlight on the wings. Really helps to make this shot feel creative, as well as you got some sort of, probably it looks like maybe mud for its nest being carried in the beak. So great job here, Max, and fantastic shot for a 14-year-old. Great job here. So good job, Max. Another creative shot. This is by Kathy Overfield. Man, this shot there's no doubt about this shot being a very creative portrait looking shot. I love the glare on the eyes. Like the eyes look like they're so intense in this image, and just really make you feel like you're kind of being threatened or intimidated. So what a fantastic creative shot here. And great job here, Kathy, with your image of the fox. This is by Roland Bowcombe. Yeah, very, very cool silhouette image here again as well. This is probably at sunset or something with a murder of crows. Reminds me kind of the video that I made back in February on my main channel, capturing crows in the middle of the night. But very, very cool. I love this shot here, kind of with all the colors in the background from the sunset, as well as the many different subjects on the tree. Feels very eerie, that's for sure. Dark and moody, most definitely. Love the thoughts, love the chat going on. Thanks you guys for chatting, submitting your thoughts. This is by Paul Pantarilla. So Paul is in the chat still. Amazing shot here, Paul. So beautiful colors. I think really what pops this image, in my opinion, is the colors in the background. The colors are fantastic. That lighting that's seeping through the woods and the trees in the background is really, really awesome. As well as how well you were able to get, I'm impressed by how well you're able to get the exposure on the great horned owl, even though everything else is really dark and moody around it as well. So very cool shot here, Paul. And then as well, a nice little touch on this image is how one eye is blinking. Super cool. Makes it look kind of like a pirate in this image, and love that about this shot. So yeah, I bet that was a lot of editing in that one. So, and hopefully he was winking as opposed to missing an eye. That'd be kind of sad, but but regardless, even if he is missing an eye, he's a pretty dang cool pirate. So very cool. Moving on to Matthew Ulmer's image right here of a green heron. Very, very cool moody image. Feels like he's stalking kind of some type of prey, and the story being told here is very cool. Fits well into the creative aspect of this image. But great job with vignetting it correctly, and yeah, really getting it nice and moody here. So love that about this shot. All right, so this is Nathan Watson. Man, Nathan Watson, the trump card in our Bird Burger Photography Awards. So this is an image by Nathan Watson that he submitted of some ducks, some waterfowl out in the distance, silhouetted in a nice scene here. Very, very cool how he captured kind of the lighting in the scene as well as the mood in the mist. So great job here, Nathan. We'll have many more images of Nathan's to go through, so won't spend too long on it. It's another one by Nathan Watson. This is of a pelican once again. Fantastic image here of a pelican. Really like the silhouette or kind of the backlighting going on and kind of accenting that halo effect on the pelican and how he's being set into the scene as well. So fantastic job here with the pelican, Nathan. Yeah, Nathan was absolutely on fire. It was amazing to see his images, but he also submitted quite a lot, so you guys will get to see them all today. This was one of Nathan Watson's images that made it into the finals. This was a really creative image. I love this one. This was one of my personal favorites in the creative category, actually, because of how those bokeh balls look in the background. So interesting. He captured those city lights in the background across the lake. And the purples are a color that's very uncommonly seen in wildlife photography, right? Capturing it that really purplish hour. So I really love kind of the color scheming here as well as the interesting lighting. So this was by a woman named Barbara Manser. This one was such a skilled take here in that she has kind of these two moments that are kind of partially frozen of the Great Crested Grebe, but then she has the motion in between that, right, where it's bobbing its head around. So very, very cool here. Such a difficult capture to take. Like, this is a very difficult capture, and it's hard for me to even explain how difficult this capture is, but very good job there and very creative capture here by Barbara. So great job, Barbara. This was a finalist image, and yeah, fantastic shot here. Another image by Barbara. Barbara seems to have those slow exposure images up her sleeve. I believe these are two sort of deers running together and a slow exposure of that, taken out a very slow exposure, so that way you get all the nice blurry streaking, but the animals are still relatively in focus. So yeah, very cool image here, and I think that's a selling point here is just the cool creativity with how this is captured, and it's very difficult to capture animals like this because not only are they moving to the side and you have to capture that relatively sharp, but you also have to capture it up and down. So great job there. Great great slow-mo pan, like Jonal said. Another one by Barbara Manser. This one also made it into the finals, and very cool image here. I had some people thinking like, man, that messaged me after saying like they loved this image specifically. Yeah, super cool grayscale image here of the hippo. What I like so much about this is this black and whiteness between the water droplets, just it almost feels like they're like noise, right, against that completely pitch black background almost. And so you get a really nice just kind of noise pattern, intentional noise pattern with those droplets all along the background, that white noise, and then the hippo as well, blowing water, just barely coming out of the water, is very cool here. So great shot here, Barbara. This is an image by Jeffrey Kowalski, a sandpiper silhouetted against the reflection of the sun on the beach. Wow, what a cool shot. This was a popular vote winner for the creative categories. This was voted the best image by the audience for the creative category. Man, this shot really is creative. I couldn't agree more. The creative, I guess the really interesting and creative part about it is how the sun is the silhouette for the sandpiper is already creative in the first place, right? But then using the reflection of the sun as the silhouette for the bird is very unseen, very rarely seen. I don't know if I've really seen it more than just a handful of times. So great shot here, perfect positioning on that bird, like you guys said. Yeah, and just a phenomenal shot. And what I also like is not only is the bird itself silhouetted, but you have that shadow in the reflection as well, and so that is a super cool addition. So overall, just incredibly creative image by Jeffrey Kowalski, and loved that shot. Very surgical precision, as was mentioned in the chat. Love that. All right, now we're back to Nathan Watson. So Nathan Watson, this was his image of the coot here, and very cool, man. The amount of bokeh in this image is really what sells this image. Like, the bokeh is just insane in this image, and it feels like he's almost in like a bubble bath of bokeh all around him. So fantastic shot here by Nathan, And yeah, I really love this image as well. The black and white choice here really works to complement the Coots black and whiteness specifically. So just a great shot here by Nathan as well. Fantastic shot and good job here, Nathan. Just so you guys all know, Bokeh Bath, yep. Just so you guys all know, Nathan is actually going to be coming on the podcast in 2 weeks for a full podcast episode that I'm preparing. So make sure you guys are subscribed below to check that out if you guys aren't subscribed below already, as we'll be having a really cool podcast with Nathan talking about just his perspective on wildlife photography and some of the things that he does as he's out in the field. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Another image by Nathan Watson. This was an image that also made it into the finals of his, and it was a silhouetted wren. I believe this is a fairy wren against the moon. What a cool image here as well. Man, the way that he captured that moon so softly in the background really complements the fairy wren. And the way that he got the silhouettes of the branches against that night sky is very cool as well. This must have been a shot that was taken at nighttime, but in the early hours of nighttime or the waking hours of the morning where it's still very dark, because that blue sky is not pitch black yet. And so very, very cool shot here, and a fantastic image again by Nathan, and challenging in terms of the time to capture. All right, and this was the winner of the creative photography category by Nathan Watson. This was Nathan Watson's image of the two terns silhouetted against the sunset. Man, again, what a beautiful composition in this image. The way that the terns are positioned on like a third of the image, then you have half of the image cut off by the silhouette of the cliffs, and then the bottom half of the image, the bottom thirds of the image cut off again and composed very nice in that frame there. And then within this frame, you have so well middle positioned these two terns above and below each other looking opposite directions. Just everything symmetrically about this photo is just precisely on. So the technicalities of this photo are just phenomenal and amazing. And yeah, great job here again, Nathan. You really did a killer job with all of your images. So great job here, Nathan. And I believe, let's see. Oh, nope, we got some more. Cool. Another one of Nathan's. So this was another one of Nathan's that made it into the finalists. A very, very clean high key image here of a pelican nice and close up. Very cool high key image, very well executed, very well done, and very cool. Just the engagement on the pose of the pelican is very much there, and as well as the accent on that eye. That eye is so prominent in this image, which you might often overlook on an image that isn't high key. So that's a very cool creative choice about this image. And lastly, we got one more shot from Nathan Watson for the Bird Burger creative category. And this was a cool image. Yeah, this was a cool image. Great comment, by the way, Jonal. I like that thought there. This was a very cool image of a sandpiper out on a beach, but I believe, I forget, he actually told me what these were afterwards when I was talking to him, but he told me what these were. I do not remember. Some sort of maybe kelp or something, but very cool how it naturally lends itself to be a bokeh ball in the background and foreground. And again, just a bokeh bath going on here, as Lance was mentioning earlier, or I think that was Lance who said that. But yeah, very cool here, and the lighting really sells this image as well. So such a cool scenario and setting, and I think that's really what sells this image so well. So very cool image here by Nathan. I know Nathan would love to be joining us, but I think in Australia it's like 3 a.m. for him. So unfortunately he was not able to join us today. So yeah, let's move forward. So this is by a guy named Benjamin Hardina. And super cool image here of a bunch of maybe, oh man, I don't want to butcher that, but some type of maybe goat up on the top of some mountains. Very creative take here. You got some nice clouds in the background, really showing the grandiose of the cliff. Is really what sells this image so well. So very cool shot here by Benjamin, and cool take, cool setting, cool environment here. Very cool story being told. It must have been, you imagine how difficult it was, or how natural it was for them to climb up that high, but how difficult that height looks. It's amazing. All right, and now we're going to Jonal Lopez, who I believe is in the chat. Yep, he is in the chat. Such a cool image here. Dark, low-key image of a barn owl in flight. Very difficult to capture, and so cool to capture in a scenario like this. Really accents just the times of day that barn owls wind up hunting, whether that's sunset, sunrise, you know, or at nighttime. And so very cool to see here. And I love just kind of the fiery light that's being shown on him, opposed to that completely dark background. So very cool. Yeah, very sharp image in low light, like Paul said, and fantastic job, Jonal. Another image by Jonal Lopez. Man, this image was great as well. Neither of these two images made it into the finals, but they were fantastic images nonetheless. And I love the foreground, how it really helps stand out. Everything is blurred. Background, foreground, everything's blurred out. Really helps isolate the fox, but yet complements it color-wise. So great job on that, Jonal. And yeah, the sharpness on the fox is just phenomenal and very well done. So very, very cool, very engaging. And I love the kind of the look over the shoulder that the fox has. And yeah, great shot here, Jonal. Another one by Jonal. So we got an image here of two either Western grebes. Yeah, these are Western grebes because the blacks are below the eyes. Yeah, those are Western grebes. Sorry, I had to double think that there for a second in my brain. But such a cool image. Man, this mating display is so cool. Something I've always wanted to capture. So very props to you on capturing that, Jonal. And yeah, so cool to see. And the amount of water that you're capturing splashing up around Jonal, or around the grebes, not around Jonal, around the grebes, Jonal, is very impressive as well. So good job there, Jonal. And man, their beaks are so interesting from a head-on angle. I really like that about this image as well. So very, very cool, and great shot there, Jonal. Welcome to all who are joining us. Yeah, we're gonna keep moving on. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. All right, Richard Pluger. This is by someone named Richard Pluger. Very cool silhouette of maybe this is some type of chickadee or something against a forest background. So very cool how this is kind of a green scale image, something I really haven't seen before. And so very kind of creative take and look on this forest scene here really helps set it in the forest environment, and cool moment as well as he's kind of clinging to the bottom of a branch. So very cool image and shot here. Moving on, Grant Webster in his image here. So Grant Webster, who is the popular vote winner overall, that was on our previous live. Very cool image here of the fox just kind of stood off against this moody background and on top of this mound of dirt. What an awesome photo. Super cool image here, and the way that the light is hitting the fox is really cool because the fox is so well contrasted from an exposure standpoint. I really like that about this image. So fantastic job, Grant, and good image here. This did not make the finals, Lance. Yeah, it did not make the finals. Very cool image. Definitely could have made the finals. It was up there. We had some amazing creative images. These were some fantastically creative images. Yeah, I do not know if this was from a camera trap, Jonal. That would have been a great question to ask Grant if he was still on here. Grant, if you're in this chat, I don't know if you are, but if you are in this chat, love to hear if it's a camera trap or not. So very cool. Let's keep moving on. Oh man, these ones were crazy. So this is by Crystal Miglior. Crystal had a couple images in the finals from this competition, but man, this image, so cool. I mean, what this image it's just shocking to look at because the way that you're seeing the squirrel's tail sticking out. Lighting is fantastic in this image, such cool lighting, but man, that squirrel tail sticking out is so interesting and so unique that yeah, it really looks really nice. So great job here, Crystal. Fantastically funny and creative image. If we had a funny category, this definitely would have been one of the finalists in there. Does look like a painting. All right, so next image by Crystal. This was also by Crystal Miglior. Man, the colors in this image are phenomenal. The blues feel so cold, so cool, as well as the purples in it. Just fantastic, fantastic image here by Crystal. And yeah, what a good job, Crystal, here with capturing all these colors at sunrise. It feels so cold. It feels like you're actually out there with her in the morning. And so great job here. The cool saturation is phenomenal, like Lance said. The color mood is beautiful, like Jonal said. Great job, Crystal. All right, and another image by Crystal of a mourning dove. Very cool. This image is very much like a single color palette, right? But it still stands out really well from a depth of field standpoint and from a lighting standpoint. And I love the backlight and the halo you get on the mourning dove here. So fantastic job here, Crystal. And the way she accented that eye specifically is very cool, because mourning dove eyes are so cool. So love that about this shot, and great job, Crystal. And next image by Crystal. This was the second place winner. Second place? I'm trying to remember now. Say the second or third place. Winner of the creative category. And man, this image was fantastic of the Katie did. The light, the way that the light is coming into the lens flares that you get in this image are just unreal. Some of the best I've ever seen. And the greens are so vibrant in this image, and the engagement and the isolation on the eyes of the Katie did, and how well she tacked focus there is just phenomenal, and how the legs kind of get more and more out of focus as you move back. So great job. Yeah, lighting is absolutely amazing, like Josh said on this one. And yeah, what a fantastic image. All right, moving on to someone else. So we got two more images in the creative. Muhammad, right here with his image of, gosh, this is, I'm trying to remember, a whooper, something like that. And what a cool image here. You kind of got the edited light beam kind of shining down onto the bird itself. And yeah, it's such a cool image here. The grays all around it really help to stand out the color of this bird that might otherwise be a little bit more subtle. And yeah, and what a cool bird here. God is, God, I love that comment. God is talking to this bird. Yes. It's like a moment that he's having between heaven and him. Such cool lighting. Yeah, super cool. A hoopy. Great catch there, Klaus. That is what it's called. I could not remember for the life of me what it's called. I was like, I know it's something like a whooper or something. So I don't know why I said whooper, but hoopy. Yes. Very, very cool bird. So anyways, great shot here, Muhammad. And our last image of the creative category, but before we move on to the birdscape category, is this image here by Sergius Hanan. So this was an image by Sergius Hanan of an owl, some type of pygmy owl. And yeah, what a cool image, man. The lighting is just so unique, so creative in this one. And the kind of the darkness and the mood that you're getting on this owl is very, very interesting and unique. So very, very cool. Yeah, very, very cool shot here by Sergius. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a fun comment, Josh. I mean, the US actually, I mean, I guess we're so big that it makes it feel more diverse than it is, but there's a lot of ways that it feels like the US is actually not that diverse. Like, I think I lived in Costa Rica for a while, and Costa Rica has almost as many bird species as the whole United States, and Costa Rica is about as big as like half of California, which California is only, I don't know, a 10th or a 20th of as big as how big the United States is. So per square mile, per square kilometer, it's actually not that diverse as well. But yeah, but very cool though. We have a wide range of land here, which is what makes it very cool. Very cool. It feels like you're in the tree with this owl. And yeah, cool shot here. So great shot, Sergius. And that wraps up our creative category. So our creative category is wrapped up. Now we're going to be moving into the birdscape category. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure that you check out the first part of this live. We had an error go on. We were streaming live, and for some reason YouTube just kind of shut the whole thing down. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but we had an interview with Grant Webster, who is the popular vote winner of the Bird Burger Awards, at the beginning of that episode, and then we started showing off the new photographers' photos during that time too. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go back there and check that out as well. So yeah, I'm going to get this set up really quick. As I'm getting this set up as well, if you guys aren't already, you guys have already mentioned me talking about some images from some of my students in some of these or in this photo competition. And yeah, I offer mentorships. If anyone is interested, you can take a mentorship with me. You can go to my website, click on the mentorships tab, and yeah, you can request to take a mentorship with me. I'd love to work with you guys in your improving your wildlife photography and how you can make it even better. And truly, that is one of the joys of what I get to do. I love to get to teach people. I love to get to teach. This is why I started Bird Burger, right? Where you guys can get free educational content as well. But if you guys are interested in learning from me one-on-one, I'd love to teach you guys in a mentorship on my website, as well as it's a huge support to me. It helps support me financially in all the things that I do. I don't get paid, very well to do all the things that I do. I mean, I guarantee you I make a lot less than minimum wage currently. So yeah, I do it because I love it first and foremost, but anything you can do to help support this and make it to where I can do this full-time someday is greatly appreciated. So yeah, that, and as well as I just launched memberships on my main channel. So my main channel, Jeremy Knipe, I'm going to mention this really quick. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. But I just launched memberships on my main channel, Jeremy Knipe, which you can check out as well. Go subscribe to that if you aren't already. But I launched memberships on there where you can, for $2 a month, support me. It just helps give me a little bit of support for $2 a month. Enough of you guys do it. It really helps to support my career. And what you get is you get badges that actually unlock with your name when you comment in the comments. And badges show up next to your name, showing that you're a member of the channel, and it really helps to support me as well. So if you guys would go and check that out, if you're interested in supporting me in a very small way, that would be super cool, and I'd appreciate that support there. So thanks you guys for considering that. Yeah, so far great work. Josh, you said what mentorship do you recommend for someone who wants to stay on a small budget? The lowest tier that I have is what's called the feedback tier on my website. That's a once a month type of feedback that I give to you. So if you are interested in that, make sure you can go check that out, as well as also, Josh, in my memberships on my main channel. So my main channel, Jeremy Knipe, if you go check out my memberships there, I have the $2 tier, which you get badges that unlock, support me in a small way. But I also have 2 other tiers that are even higher, in which you're included for either $6 a month or $15 a month. You're included into a Discord chat with me. And that's kind of like a very scaled down version of mentorship, where I'm going to be talking with you guys in that chat about lots of different valuable things and tips. You guys can throw photos in the chat, and I'll just, check them out super quick, give a quick thought on them. It's a less intensive mentorship, but it's kind of to a small extent a mentorship as well, in which you can be involved in community and direct communication with me. So that's a great way as well if you have a really, really low budget also, Josh. How do you get a membership? Go to my Jeremy Knipe channel. So if you aren't subscribed to Jeremy Knipe, you'll have to search me up. Search up Jeremy Knipe, which is just my name. You can also check it out in the link in the description below. I believe it should be linked in the description below. Just my main channel. You'll see a link there to my main channel. And so Jeremy Knipe, and then there's a join button on my homepage. And on that join button, you can then subscribe to a membership level. So that's how you do that. All right, you guys. So without trying to sell myself any longer, thank you guys just for staying in here and tuning in with me. It's so cool to see all these amazing things that you guys submitted, and just so proud of all the images that you guys submitted into this event. It truly was super cool to see just the amazing amount of images that you guys submitted. So without waiting any longer, all right, let's hop into the birdscape category. All right. So in the birdscape category, we had quite a bit of images here submitted as well. So this first one is of a lazuli bunting by a guy named David Carson. Very, very cool image, man. The way that the blue pops against the greens, and the kind of the stalks of grass in the image as well is very, very powerful. The color isolation here is, I think, really what sells the image. So lazuli buntings are such a beautiful bird. I love those birds so much, and it makes me jealous that I've not been able to capture better photos of them yet. Very cool image here. Okay, moving to the next image. This is an image by William White of a green heron peering down in the water. Wow. what a cool image here, really showing the pose and kind of the prowess of this heron. And yeah, I love this image so much. And I think really what sells this image is the reflection. It's super cool how clearly you see the reflection of the green heron. This must have been very still water, and very shows its kind of predator-like nature. That makes it such a cool bird. Russell Ward. So this is an image by Russell Ward. Green herons are amazing. Russell Ward, and this is an image of a bobolink. Very, very cool. I think the lighting in this image is super cool. The way that the yellow kind of palette of the bobolink naturally complements all the yellow around it is so cool as well. So yeah, I love this image. The lighting is really what makes this cool. And yeah, love this shot. Green herons are cooler, more colorful than great blue herons. Yeah. Yeah. I think, I mean, man, both are so cool. It's so hard to say, but I think I am a little bit partial towards green herons too. I think their tininess makes them very cool as well. And they feel a little bit more photographable because they're not quite so lengthy. But yeah, fun comment. Russell Ward. So this is an image of a prairie warbler by Russell Ward. Super cool image here as well. Wow, what a beautiful bird. Yellow standing off against a very vibrant green background again makes for a really nice shot. Great pose here, great body positioning, and such a cool bird. It's a great shot again by Russell. Moving on to the next one, Chris Wellman. Chris Wellman with his image of the white-breasted nuthatch, kind of pulling off of the tree trunk. Super cool here. Very well captured, very well isolated, and a very cool image here. I think the body pose is really what sells this image so well. So great shot here by Chris. Another image by Chris of two cardinals. So two northern cardinals, a male and probably a juvenile, getting fed. And super cool to capture this moment. I think the story and the interaction going on here is really what's cool in this image. Very cool crop as well. Next image by Chris Wellman again, snowy egret. So this was an image of a snowy egret, bird in flight, and very good job capturing it nice and sharp in a low light condition. So great job here, Chris. And very cool how the light's kind of coming down, and that whiteness of the sky really complements the whiteness of the snowy egret as well. Oh, you guys can only see, yep, I see what you're saying. What's going on here? There we go. I'm so sorry about that. My apologies, guys. There we go. That's the image. Hopefully it wasn't like that for too long. I had it on the wrong setting. But yeah, very cool image here. Great job, Chris. Let's move on. So we got Uwe Craner, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but wow, what an image of I believe this is oh gosh, a guillemot. Yes, some type of guillemot. But wow, what a cool image. Man, what a fantastic image. I love the wide angle here. I'm actually kind of surprised this did not make the Birdscape finalists, because I definitely would have chosen this image. But wow, the pose here with him calling up towards the heavens, so cool. And then what I also really like is some nice touches is that you have all the guillemots kind of in the background flying around as well. Especially this one down here is so cool, how you have that out of focus and wing spread in the background. I love that aspect about this image. And the landscape, wow, what a beautiful image on a cloudy day here. So very cool, great scenery like Jimmy shared, great wide angle like Jonal said, and super cool to see. And Max, good to have you on here. Glad you got to catch my words on your image earlier, and yeah, thanks for being on here, Max. For those of you who are just joining, you guys have any good thoughts, make sure to share them in the chat. So I'd love to see your guys' encouragement towards others for people who are rewatching this later or joining us live right now and seeing their images. I'm sure it'd be very encouraging to them. So make sure to chat any cool thoughts you guys have. And yeah, the teardrop looking eye on the guillemots are so cool always, Paul. I agree. Nice to have you back, Sean. Cool. So we got a wood sandpiper, man, by Uwe Craner once again. So same person. They like to seem to kind of take this wide step back, and I like that style. And wow, what a cool mood to this image. I think the pink flowers actually really are what accent this image here. And the sandpiper looks really nicely set color-wise into his scenery. So great job here, Uwe. And yeah, great image. Great depth on that one, like you said. Cool. Next image is Rick Evans. So Rick Evans, Black Phoebe in this beautiful colors of red all around him and tans. Very, very cool image here. Rick had, I think, photos submitted to pretty much every category except new photographers. And Rick had some great images. So great shot here, Rick. Very nice and moody. And great shot. Oh, man. Computer is freezing again. Are you kidding me? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. What is going on? Oh, no. Can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. You guys are freaking me out, man. Okay, I'm good now. All right. Oh man, I don't know why YouTube wants us to stop going live today. Man, this is rough. All right, well, good. We're back. So thanks for letting me know, you guys. All right, so we had Rick Evans here. Let's move into the next image, still by Rick Evans. This was one of his images that made the finals. Cool sea of, or a cormorant in a sea of cormorants. And what a fantastic image here. You got so many cormorants at a nesting colony all in the background. Such a cool kind of story being shared here. And yeah, great image. I love the colors as well in this image, Max. Great shot. And yeah, it's cool how he kind of was able to pick out one specific cormorant to showcase alongside all the other cormorants. So great job with that in this image. All right, one more image by Rick Evans. And this was an image of a great blue heron by Rick Evans against kind of this foggy, mystical morning. I would assume maybe nighttime or maybe sunset as well. But very cool image here. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's straight out of a nature documentary. So very cool shot here. I love the setting here. The yellow leaves on top are really cool, and love this image. All right. And moving into the next one, this was one by Stefano Pasquale. Again, this was, he actually submitted this image to two categories, so the new photographers category as well as this birdscape category. Once again, so my thoughts were shared on it earlier, but once again, very cool image, very cool colors being shared here, very cool mood, and a unique type of scene where there's foreground really hanging from above in a parallel way. So very cool shot there. Great job, Stefano, who is a part of my mentorship programs. Once again, he's one of my students. He has some very cool work. He's come a long ways, so very cool to see. Another image by Stefano. It's the same actually setting that he took this shot in, but this time of a great crested grebe. And I like this image, how he kind of got the great crested grebe to stand out and have color and exposure on him, while everything else is a lot more dark. So very cool shot here as well. All right, now we're moving on to Adam Tomlinson. So Adam Tomlinson with this awesome action shot of an osprey. Wow, what a cool image. The action going on here is really what sells the image. Super difficult to capture. So very cool to see. And I like how he got it more eye level, as opposed to sometimes you see those shots down on ospreys where you're getting them smashed against the water. And this one is not that way. And I think that really helps this image look a lot cooler. Super engaging. So great shot here, Adam. This is an image by Sam Bray. Yeah, the fact that you can read the band on the last one was amazing. Yeah, image by Sam Bray here of the bald eagle. Very cool, kind of moody, cool tone shot here. Bird in flight, so well captured in terms of the shutter speed and the motion blur, all that good stuff. Great image here by Sam. Yeah, see why it was a difficult decision with the amazing images. Man, there were so many good images, guys. Like, yeah, narrowing down to finalists was already so hard. So that's why I was like trying to be so encouraging of you guys. Like, man, if you guys didn't make the finals, it's not that your image was bad by any means. It was just there were so many good images. So yeah. Good thought, and yeah, keep letting us know what you think in the chat. Reflection is awesome in this photo. Next image is by Kathy Overfield. So this is of a bald eagle once again. She kind of put in a frame, but if you ignore the frame, very cool in the sense of, man, the bald eagle is so sharp, and the droplets that are coming off the back with the fish being snatched out of the water, so powerful. Man, this is an amazing image. But yet she had some motion blur in the background, which really helps bring this contrast between the sharp bird in flight and the motion blur in the background. I really like this image. Very cool image, and very well done by Kathy. We got Sean Theodoratos. I probably butchered that. But Sean's image of the broad-tailed hummingbird. Bird gain shot. That was a bird gain shot. Sean's image of the broad-tailed hummingbird. Very, very cool here. Very, very cool hummingbird image, and very prominent and good shot here. I like the way that the subject stands out, and I think that's really the selling point of this image. So great shot by Sean. Another one by Sean, and this one I like even more than the last one. I think it's a little bit more isolated, really well stands out. Subject is very engaging here. Like the mountain chickadee really pops out in the way he's leaned into the camera. Really helps sell it well. So yeah, this one really is very focused on the mountain chickadee, and I like the way that this branch also is kind of like a bonus accent, kind of curls around and highlights or gives a really nice standing point for the chickadee to stand on. So really good in that image, and the colors are great as well. So great job by Sean. And oh, that's actually Sean in the chat. So Theodoratos. I believe that's how you're telling me to pronounce your name. So great shot, Sean, Theodoratos, and yeah, cool image. Great job. And oh man, wrong one. Keep doing that. Got another one by Sean Theodoratos, and this one is of. Oh man, I think is this an Arizona woodpecker? Let me know, Sean, in the chat. But very cool image here as well. What I really like about this one is the palms. I believe those are palm leaves in the background, or something very similar. Maybe those aren't palm leaves, but the kind of the green striping you have in the background is very cool. Red-bellied woodpecker, apparently. The striping that you have in those leaves in the top left corner is very cool and gives a cool kind of background to the woodpecker. So I love that about this image. And the woodpecker itself, so well caught, very good feather detailed here, and great shot in this image. So great job there, Sean. Thanks for joining us in the chat, and great imagery. All right. So this is by a guy named Wimda Beats. I assume that's a nickname, but I'm not sure. Regardless, super cool. Very cool image of, I'm trying to see what that is. It's kind of tiny in frame, but I believe that might be a green heron. But it's a little bit too far away to really tell. Could be a tricolored, I don't know. But in the grasses, so cool. And also, even though this image has a lot going on with all the grasses all around, the way that this image still feels like you can very easily pick out the subject of this image, the heron, because the way the heron's hitting him and exposing him more, how, like Lance said, you can just see the neck of the bird mostly, stands out really prominently still amongst what could be a very distracting scene. So great job here. I think the uniformness in the grass really is what allows your eye to stay focused on the subject. So very cool birdscape like image. Cool. We have Ray Kilham here. A tern feeding. So this is a very cool image of a tern feeding a chick. It looks like, man, what a cool action moment. That is a fantastic action moment. So fantastic job here with capturing that action. And the pose is also very cool and really eliminating almost all the shutter blur except for on a little part on the wing. But even that shutter blur there looks very natural and very good. So fantastic job getting the shot frozen so well as the action of this image. So very cool moment, like Mike said. Very cool moment. Another one by Ray. So Ray seems to have a knack for action shots specifically. In the shot of a kingfisher swooping up a fish and bringing it back to a perch. So cool. I think the selling point for me in this image is really how the talons are posed out and kind of pouncing. So very cool to see that with the kingfisher in this image. And man, that fish is just so cool here. And again, great job on getting him so sharp. When this is very difficult to get so sharp. Like the shutter speed must have been ridiculously high here. So great shot here again, Ray. All right, we got another image by Ray Kilham. This is another action shot once again, so it looks like we know his pattern. But very cool action moment in which we got two raptors fighting with each other. So cool, such a cool moment. I like it. You can see the little bit of grass here. It gives context for how close they are to the ground, and they probably were jumping up and kind of clashing. And man, what really sells this for me is all the feathers, the puff of feathers you have going on all around you. The wingspan is majestic, and you have these feathers kind of flying out all around. Really emphasizes the action going on here in this image. And great shot here once again, Ray. So very cool image. All right, we have an image by Roland Balcombe. And this is an image of a sanderling. Very cool. I got to photograph these guys well for the first time this last spring, and such cool, interesting birds. Love the detail on this image as well. Very cool, like you said, Paul. And yeah, beautiful colors. Just an overall very good image. Very cool scene to be captured. And I like how there's like those bubbles out to the side, the left side of the sanderling as well. Really is a cool little accent and touch to it. So great job there. All right, and we got Greg Pasek in his image of the avocets. This image, man, what's coolest about this image is not only that you're capturing 3 different species in one photo. So you got I think the yellow legs, it looks like in the background. And the avocet and the sanderling, but you got these amazing little droplets that are so perfectly rounded and shaped flying off the beak of the avocet, which is really cool to me. So that's a very cool touch, and great job there, Greg. Was definitely taken very low level, and the photographer is probably getting wet, most definitely. So yeah, cool to see. Another image by, oh gosh, there we go, by Greg Pasek once again. An image of, all of them want to be photographed. Willet, good catch there too. Yep, that was a willet in the background. That was not, yeah, that wasn't a yellow legs. That was a willet. You're right. Greg Pasek here. So very cool to see this image here. I think what sells this image the most is actually the pose going on here. Man, those look like almost like angel wings, you know, some other type of, you know, creature wings that is not the typical kind of pointiness that you feel on the top of the wings from birds. So I love the wing positioning here. The wings are super cool, and the coolest selling point of this image for me, and the way that he got it so centered as well as the body just head on, is very cool as well. So great job there, Greg, once again. Here's another image from Greg in some sort of little marsh caught up. Yeah, the pose could be a logo on that last one. Here's a warbler. Oh gosh, I forget what type of warbler that is. I want to say palm, but that's probably wrong. It's some type of eastern warbler. But very cool image of a warbler in flight, once again, taken off from a very, what could be a very difficult scene to capture. Man, I've tried to capture and kind of like, this looks like it might have been in like a drainage almost, or a very, you know, deep in the swamp or outskirts of a swamp where you have all those things. These scenarios are very difficult to capture. So yeah, very cool image here, Greg. And yes, palm warbler, cool. I'm glad I was right about that one. All right, now we got Giuseppe's image going on here. Wow, what an image here. This is really unique because I don't know if you guys can see this, but if there was an action category, which is probably, I'm thinking of adding in an action category next year, but this image, I think if it like was submitted to something other than Birdscape, it might have done a little bit better. But this is by a guy named Giuseppe, who actually has a YouTube channel as well. And Giuseppe has some great content, but there is ants all over this owl. And I don't know how well you guys can see that on YouTube, but there's ants falling off that he's shaking off. There's ants all over his feathers, like up here. I don't know how well you can see them, but so cool. Yep, we got a reptile, insects, and the birds. So 3 different, totally different families of animals being captured, but so cool. I mean, those are such a good touch to it. But then obviously even just the action itself and the way that he has the reptile gripped in his claws and his talons is absolutely amazing. So fantastic action shot here, Giuseppe. Great image there. Love everything you guys are sharing in the comments, by the way. Great stuff. This is again by Giuseppe Gessa, and this is a very cool image of 2 falcons. Either I'm trying to decide. I don't know if that's either a mating kind of courtship thing going on, or if that's a right after feeding, or it looks more like a courtship probably display or something though. So very cool. The setting is super cool because you feel like you're with them there on the cliff, which is where they would have been found. And so super cool to see this, and what a great image by Giuseppe. Most definitely some great shots here. Thanks for joining us, Andrew. Andrew McDonald also has a great YouTube channel, so make sure you check out his YouTube channel if you haven't. We haven't gotten to your images yet, Andrew. I know Andrew submitted a lot of images in the portrait category, so we'll get to those in a bit. But yeah, thanks you guys for all joining on. If you are just coming on recently, let us know in the chat about all these images. I'm sure people would love to see your encouraging comments, and thanks for joining us today. And just as a reminder also, there is like a 10-15 second delay between me and your guys' chat. So sometimes when you guys are chatting things, I miss them by the time I flip to the next image. So just letting you guys know. But thanks for joining us here today. All right, so yeah, the falcons, these are some amazing shots. Would love to take these myself, just like you said, Sean. And great interaction. All right, another one by Giuseppe, and this is again one of a J. I believe this is a Canada J, I want to say again. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but yeah, great image here. I love the background stood off against the J, and yeah, very cool perch that he's on as well. Very cool gnarled kind of perch that really helps to accent this image. So some great shots by Giuseppe, 3 great images, and cool to see. All right, this one is by Arcadius, and this was actually the 3rd place winner in the new photographers category. He also submitted it to the birdscape category, but great job here by Arcadius, and fantastic image. I think really what sells this in the birdscape sense is those wheat stalks that he's standing on and that depth of field you get with the foreground and background of those different grasses. So very cool to see this. All right, this is by a guy named Cameron Harper. So Cameron Harper with his image of the yellow, no, I don't think that's a yellow warbler. That's hard for me to tell. I think this is juvenile. Yeah, Cameron Harper with his image of the warbler. Very cool image once again. It's cool how there's just kind of the one kind of branch going on here with the leaf and then the warbler, beside it. So very cool to see that as well. All right. This is by someone named Lolana Easley. Yep, Lolana Easley. Very cool to see this image. This is of, I believe, maybe a common myna, some type of myna, I believe. Very cool how there's a really nice depth of field isolation here with you kind of got a foreground layer, you have the subject layer, and then you have a background layer, all very prominent from one another. And the color mix is very well, as well in this image. Great peekaboo shot. Yeah, cool on that last image. That's what you guys were addressing. Sorry, the peekaboo shot on that one. But this image is very cool as well. Mina, great job, Lolana. Another one by Lolana. This one is very cool. I love the raindrops, the streaks you get in this. So again, great job of getting sharp images here, with the raindrops kind of blurred in the background, give some motion and some weather kind of effects to the image that feel really nice. So cool job in this image. And once again, a great shot. And another one by Lolana Easley. And this is a mallard, female mallard, and very cool mood in this image. I think what really sells this one is the mood, and how kind of dramatic it feels, how it feels like it's very cold and cool. And so great job here, by Lolana, and love this image as well. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going to adjust one thing really quick. There we go. Okay. That'll help a little bit. Okay. All right. So moving forward. All right. We got Matthew Ulmer. Matthew's image of some type of sandpiper. I believe this might be a Western sandpiper, but I could be wrong about that. But very cool. Wow, the eye level is just insane. I mean, the camera is just literally right on top of the water here. It's probably literally like touching the water. So fantastic eye level. Got a really nicely isolated subject from the background and the foreground. And very cool how you feel like you're kind of in his world with even the subject layer, the few items that are slightly in focus. Really feel like you get the sense of size, how tiny this bird is. So I love that about this image, and fantastic shot from Matthew right here. All right, we got another image by Matthew Ulmer of a, this is a spotted owl, I believe. It's either spotted or barred, I forget. It's an eastern owl, or an owl that we don't get here, at least in California where I'm at. So forgive me if I'm wrong on that once again. But yeah, what a fantastic image. I love the way that all the kind of the foliage is hanging off of the branches around it. It makes it feel very ghostly. And I think that's my favorite part about this image. So very, very cool mood and setting here, story being told, and what a great image. Barred owl. I was wrong on the spotted. Forgive me. You guys are having to put up a lot of corrections today. So yeah, barred owl is what it is. But great shot, Matthew. This is a really fantastic one. Great image here. All right, this is by a guy named, the moss was wild in the last one. Isaac Dubois. Really cool image here of kind of this downy woodpecker that's just on top of this very skinny stalk, stretching out into the sky. So I love that about this image. It's very unique in that type of way. And the downy just really well sits on the top of this stalk. So very cool image here, and I love this shot too. The colors are great. But an even better image by Isaac. This was a great image by Isaac. Man, actually, this was one that I was super surprised did not make it into the birdscape category. But maybe that also partially has to do with my absolute love for nighthawks. But man, this is an amazing image of just the colors. I love how they caught some color in the foreground to kind of help set a foreground frame up as well. And not keep the branch bark so much in focus and so prominent, and it helps isolate the nighthawk a little bit better. But the background colors are really great as well. Those soft whites, as well as combined with those greens and yellows, just amazing. So fantastic image there, and the nighthawk itself, so well captured there, so cool, very nice and sharp, and the colors are just so vividly rich brought out. Love that image, and the eye is so cool. Nighthawk eyes are just the coolest. So great job on that shot, Isaac. And yeah, that is an interesting spot to see a downy woodpecker, like you mentioned, fen myth. All right, this is by a guy named Alexander Matos, and he's actually one of my students as well in my mentorship program. So if you guys haven't checked out my mentorship programs, check them out on my website. Yeah, very, very good shot here by Alexander. I think what I love the most about this shot is the way that the bird is positioned, singing up into the sky. Really feels like it's a cool, unique take that you don't always see with yellow throats. You usually see them just darting between things, and the best moment you have is just that slight moment where you get to capture it between the branches and the thicket. So seeing this is super cool, and the way that the yellows complement the greens and complements kind of the bluish purples in the background makes for a really nice color palette. So great job here, Alexander. And nighthawks are so hard to find. It's been hard for me too. We have a different type in our area, and I've worked hard to get the shots I have of them. If you haven't seen the vlog on my main channel about that, that's a pretty fun one I made a year ago. But yeah. Anyway, so moving on. Alexander Matos once again. Great shot here of a mallard. Great foreground setting up the framing here, as well as kind of reaching around. You kind of have like a corner of openness here in this image that really helps to stand out the mallard. And the mallard head really is so prominent in this image. Everything else very subtly complements it with very soft greens and very soft tans. Complements the mallard colors, but the mallard just takes those colors and makes them more vibrant. So great shot here by Alexander. And also very kind of creative, unique birdscape take by Alexander Matos as well. of the turkey vulture, where this turkey vulture is set in this very moody scene, and you're kind of peering through a ton of thicket to see this turkey vulture. So it's very cool how they even got the window on this. Alexander even got the window on this vulture in the first place, but the color palette really makes it very spooky and moody, and I think it actually kind of works for this image, especially considering that it's a vulture. So very cool shot here. I love that about this shot, and great job, Alexander. All right, let's see. So we got next image here. This is by a guy named, oh man, I'm going to pronounce this wrong because I don't know how to do these accents, but Come Dinuchond or something like that. I'm probably butchering that, so I apologize for that. But this was a fantastic birdscape image as well. Feels like you're being hunted on the last one. Yeah, that's a good comment. But this is a fantastic hummingbird image as well. Birdscape, man, there's more in focus here than normal, but it works with this image with the way that the hummingbird is positioned in kind of this jungle type of scene. Hummingbird, so prominent, so sharp. I love that about this image, but even more so, the flowers really accent this image nicely. Without the flowers in this image, I think this image would have been half as good. So the flowers are just beautiful and gorgeous in this image, and beautiful shot by Come. Probably pronouncing that wrong. I'm sorry for that. But yeah, I love how the pink frames it. Great shot there. Pink frames the hummingbird, yeah. All right, another image by the same guy. This is a cool hummingbird image, but this one, I think mostly what stands out to me is not so much the composition as much as the last one, which I think is a little bit better. Scene's also very cool, but what's very, very awesome about this one, I don't know if you can see it on YouTube with the low quality, but there's a little bug that's flying and the hummingbird is about to snatch it in his mouth. So cool how he was able to get that moment. So yeah, fantastic shot there, and love that image. Great post processing on both of those hummingbird images. You're totally right, Andrew. All right, we got another image by Come, and this is an image of a tern, some type of tern. I don't know which type, but some type of tern out on the rocks in the distance. And again, once again, a pretty wide shot, and I love that. But what's unique about this one is you have this really nicely out of focus boat in the background, and the shape is really interesting, and you don't see that really in birdscape shots, and it really helps put it into context of the ocean, right? So very cool image. And the other thing that stands out is the pose. I mean, the way that he's grabbing that single tail feather is just so cool, how he's grabbing that with his beak and stretching it around him. So it makes for a very interesting body positioning on this turn. Love that about the shot, and great images by Come, however you pronounce that name. I'm so sorry. I'm probably butchering that. All right. Now back to Jeffrey Kowalski. So he was actually the winner in the creative category for the portrait vote, or the popular vote in the creative category. Jeffrey Kowalski with an image of a common yellowthroat amongst or on a flower stalk amongst a really nice field of green grass and other flowers. So very, very cool image here. The white really accents nicely on the flowers. The way the yellowthroat is standing out on that single stalk is super cool, and absolutely love this image. The colors are just amazing in it. So great job, Jeffrey. All right, we got Christopher Turbert with his image of the great blue heron. Great blue heron, and what a fantastic image here. I love the setting and the scene here. The way that he's standing on top of the branch is just super cool, looking out into the distance, and I like the foreground with the leaves on the right side of the image as well. I think that really helps set the mood of the scene is quite a bit more dark and moody. So great shot, like Chris said, and absolutely love that image. All right, and back to, let's see. Yes, that is, okay. Sorry, I was double checking something. So this is again, Christopher Turbert, and this is a really cool shot of some purple flowers in the background accenting on a killdeer, and the killdeer looks like he's on a road, I believe. Maybe that could be on some solid dried up cracked ground, but I think that's a road. It's kind of hard to tell, but the purple flowers are really what make this unique and interesting, because you don't see purple flowers in bird photography shots very often. So I really like that about this image. It really accents the nice clear shot on the killbird very well, the killbird calling killdeer, gosh. So yeah, very cool there as well. I've been talking for all right, you guys. Sorry about that. My battery died. I was not expecting to go quite this long. I think we've had quite a bit of problems. So, give me 1 second. You guys are gonna see the behind the scenes really quick because I was not planning on having to do a battery change. Okay, got focus back on me, and we're good. So let's go back to the photos. Okay. So, anyways, yes, Christopher Turbert's image, awesome, great job here. So thanks you guys for being patient. All right, so back to Chinakon. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. He submitted some other categories as well. I think the creative, but awesome image here of this kind of scene going on with a bunch of cormorants high up in the trees and one single one flying out into the distance. I love how he captured that separation between the single one out in the distance and then all the ones kind of on their roosting trees. So that's super cool. It's so cool to see seabird colonies in trees like this if you guys have never seen that before. So it's very cool to see, and great representation here, and I love the choice to do black and white. So yeah, good stuff. Very cool stuff. Thank you guys for joining in. This is really cool having you guys participate in this. So glad you guys are participating in the chat, and yeah, it was just awesome. I'm so honored to get to show off all these amazing images that everyone submitted. So this is the least that I felt like I could do. But now you also see why we had to do finalists, because imagine doing this during the awards. It would have been impossibly long. So so we could not have judged all these images live. So yeah, very cool to show these afterwards. So all right. So we got this, another one by Chinakon. This is a very cool one of like a baby mallard, I believe, swimming out in the water. And this one, I really like the water because the water is kind of streaked in this interesting blurred, motion streaked way that often you don't quite get so, you don't quite get so severely. Kind of like you can see the streaks, how they're kind of heading up into the top left corner all over here. Those streaks and reflections are really nice, and there's like a lot of really rainbowish colors in the water around the mallard as well. So very cool shot. I like that nice colorful touch in this image, and a very good image by Chinakon. It could have been a little stint. Gray Francolin. It could have been a little stint. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check, but that might be the right species name. Okay. Book Atema. Yeah, the water droplets were great in the last one. This is by a person named Book, I believe, Book or Bouquet Atema, and very cool image of a long-eared owl. Kind of set behind some foreground, and some, twigs and sticks of maybe a dead bush, a dead tree, something like that chopped down. So very cool here. And the way that he's kind of like fluffed up, chubby, a little plumpy with his eyes closed is kind of the cool aspect of this image, at least in my opinion. It feels like there's definitely a lot of character to this long-eared owl. So cool image here, and very cool to see. Another one by Book Atema. So this one is an image of a yellow wagtail out in the distance amongst a bunch of yellow flowers. I believe this one made the finals. I'm trying to remember. I might be mistaken, but I believe this one made the finals. Very, very cool to see all the yellow just surrounding this yellow bird, but yet I like how the yellow belly of the bird is still offset from the green background to help isolate it, because it doesn't just blend in with the flowers around it. But the yellow is just phenomenal throughout this whole image. So absolutely amazing shot. Good job, Book or Bouquet. This is super cool to see. Yeah, that long-eared owl did look happy as a lark. Yeah, intrusive yet not intrusive. That's a good thought too. All right. Gosh, I keep doing that. Moving on to the next one. We got George Hammerjoan with his image of a bunch of northern gannets, kind of maybe looking over a stick for a nest. So this was very cool as well. Very cool image. I think what's cool about this image is how it's a trio, right? And also how you have those two specifically kind of curled up necks against each other in the same direction. That kind of looks like some nice symmetry there. But very cool to see that, and very cool image. So good job by George. George has another image here of I believe this is a bee eater, they're called. I forget what type. But such a cool bird. This is a bird that I wish I could photograph. This is one of the most beautiful birds there is, in my opinion. But such a cool bird. Great shot getting him bird in flight off of the perch. Great job there. And the colors that he captures of this very vibrant, colorful bird against this blackish, dark background is so cool. I think that contrast really works well. Those rainbow colors, like you're saying in the chat. And yeah, very cool stuff. Rainbow bee eater. That's what it is. Okay, cool. And this is another image by George Hammerjoan. And this is kind of like a silhouette of a bird against a colored background and probably a forest, something like that. Very cool to see as well. Yeah, great capture here too. So good job, George, with all your 3 images. We've got now Nathan Watson with his image that actually won the 2022 Bird Burger Awards. So great job again, Nathan. This image is just phenomenal. Amazing job. If you haven't seen the awards already, guys, make sure you go check out the awards. They're linked in the description below. Yeah, it was amazing getting to have that competition. Man, we had like 500 people tune in live during the actual awards. So cool to see. So cool to see the encouragement and the engagement with the audience. And it was so intense getting to see those photos eliminated and narrowed down. And just everyone who submitted was just phenomenal. But this was the winner of the 2022 Bird Burger Photo Awards. The way that this image just so beautifully sets this great egret amidst this scene is just phenomenal. This soft white, and there's not like a single ripple you can witness in this whole image pretty much, except for the ripple right around its feet. And so the way that how calm this water was this morning, the fog, the mist around it, and still being able to capture all this without accidentally blowing out any details was just an absolute amazing job. Great composition, and really is a beauty. So great job again, Nathan, and congratulations on winning the whole event. So we got Hendrik Gieminer. Sorry, I'm pronouncing that really wrong probably, but Hendrik's image of gosh, is this a kookaburra? You Australian people, tell me if this is a kookaburra. No, it's not a kookaburra actually, but it's very similar. Or maybe there's multiple types of kookaburras. If anyone's from Australia here, which they're probably not because they're sleeping, but if anyone is, let me know what this is. So very, very cool bird here. Such an interesting bird. And I actually really like how this these branches in the right side of the frame kind of, even though they're not totally out of focus, and usually that would be kind of like a discount, I like how it kind of sets the scene a little bit better here in this image. So very cool there. The perch that he's perched on is very cool and very sharp, very nicely tacked on the bird. So very cool to see, and overall just a fantastic image by Hendrik. All right, moving back to Nathan Watson. This was an image by Nathan Watson of some sort of swallow, it seems like, out on a lake, backlit by the sun. Fantastic image here. Very cool to see. Such a detailed capture here as well, and fantastic shot by Nathan. Another image by Nathan Watson. I forget what bird this was. They mentioned it during the live, but I forget now. But very cool. I think what's coolest about this image is the water droplets frozen in the rain that you have all around him. Or sorry, not the water droplets. I'm trying to remember. They mentioned what it was. I think it was actually I think Nathan mentioned it was insects. I might be wrong on that, but it was something really interesting. But that makes this image very cool, as well as the flowers. The flowers is just so cool in this image. So very cool shot overall. And very cool to see. It looks like this might be a New Holland's honey eater is what I'm being told in the chat. So great shot here by Nathan. Another shot here by Nathan Watson of a pelican swimming out in the distance. Man, this image, when I first saw it, I actually thought it was like photoshopped because of the way that this circle right here is just so prominent, like around the pelican. It's so well framed there that I was just amazed. I was like, that looks like it's literally just photoshopped and inserted into there, but it's not. And fantastic image, such a great job by Nathan, and so cool how he was able to use the scenery to kind of naturally just create such a cool kind of circular frame around the pelican. All right, now we got back to Seda Dunham, who submitted some other images in other categories, but very cool. Yeah, you're not the only one who thought that, Fenmith. But very cool image by Seda. And this is of a golden crowned sparrow right here, in a very cool flower field. Man, this is like what my flower fields look like for about 2 weeks up here during spring in the foothills around where I live. And so it brings me back a lot of memories, but very cool. I love the setting here, how many different colors of flowers you capture in this image, and very cool about this image, Seda. All right, we got an image by Grace Zinkraff. Grace's image of a great egret here, very cool. I think what stands out to me about this one the most, it's a wider shot, right? But the way that you see the clouds behind the great egret is actually quite cool in this image. It really complements and makes for a nice scene where it feels like you're kind of looking up into this tree and you're looking at these birds up high in the tree, but not in an ugly way like most up-angled shots look. It looks like you're witnessing a setting rather than just kind of like this really tight up portrait that doesn't look that great from down below. So great shot here, Grace. This is an image again by Grace Zinkraff. Was that last one a cattle egret? I think that one was a great egret. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on that. So if it is a cattle egret, but I'm pretty sure that's a great egret. Yeah. Anyways, regardless, we got this next one by Grace Zinkraff. And this is a common merganser, out perched on a rock amongst a lake or a pond. Super cool to see this image. I really like the body positioning and the way that the feathers in the back of the head are puffed up, and super cool to see there. So great shot again, Grace. All right, we're getting closer to being done with the birdscape category. We got Jonal Lopez, who I think Jonal's still in the chat, hopefully, but I know he was earlier. But yeah, great job, Jonal, in this image. This was an awesome image showing the great horned owl looking down into the brush. I know this was a finalist in the competition, so great job, Jonal. But yeah, looking down into the brush, looking for some prey, and very cool, intense capture there. Another image by Jonal. We had this one shown off earlier in the creative category. Jonal submitted it to 2 categories. Sorry, long-eared owl. We did that again, Jonal. You're right. This was a long-eared owl. We did that again. I said it was a great horned owl during the competition, during the live competition, and all the judges were like, that's a long-eared owl, correcting me. And yep, you're right. It was a long-eared owl. I am sorry about that. It's not the first time I messed that up. But yep, Western grebe here. Like we talked about earlier, again, amazing image, Jonal. So cool to see how you capture that water just so frozen in action, and the angle that you caught on them was so cool, and the display and the story is just amazing. So great job once again. Another image from Jonal Lopez. This is of I believe this is a golden eagle. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, this looks like a golden eagle. Very cool bird in flight shot. Very cool action shot. Great job tacking that so sharp, and well done for this bird in flight. That is not easy to get, and also getting eye level. I mean, like, man, I feel like every time I see an eagle, never eye level. So great job getting eye level with this golden eagle, and good job on that shot, Jonal. Great images that you submitted to the event. All right. We got Eric Anderson. Eric with his image. Oh gosh. I don't remember the name of this songbird. I feel like I know it subliminally and I can't remember it. But yeah, great image here by Eric Anderson. He was a new photographer. He won the popular vote in the new photographers category, but he also submitted into this birdscape here. And a great image. I love the light specifically in this image, the way that the light kind of highlights behind the bird and kind of gets darker as you go across the background. And so very cool there, and great capture as well by Eric. Got another one by Eric Anderson of a eider. I can't remember what type of eider that is, but some type of eider, most likely in the ocean. And so cool to see this shot. Very cool to see. I like the waves in this photo, the shapes of the waves, yet they still look pretty soft, which is nice. They don't look too choppy, but there's definitely character and kind of structure to them. So very cool. And chaffinch, very cool. Thanks for correcting that, Andrew. Next image by Eric, great gray owl, looking back over, no, actually that's forward actually. That is an interesting, I didn't notice that puff before, but I don't know, whatever that puff is, the feathers are just puffing out right there. I'm not going to say what that looks like, but that looks pretty funny. But yeah, very cool image of a great gray owl. Very intense shot by Eric once again. For a new photographer, this is a treat to see a great gray owl like that. And so super cool to see. Such a rare bird to find. I think that's its feet. Oh yeah, it probably is its feet. That's interesting that one is stretched out forward though. Yeah, grump face. Cool, love it. Cool. So next one by Troy DeMercado. DeMercado. Yeah, this is a hilarious image, or this is a great, not hilarious, sorry, I was still thinking about the last one. This is a great image of a yellow-rumped warbler out in kind of amongst some pine cones and a pine tree. So very cool image here by Troy. I love the setting in this image, definitely feels like it encompasses birdscape. And so very cool image here by Troy. Great shot here, Troy. I love the little accent of the yellow warbler on his head that you don't often always get to see either. So cool on that. All right, back to Patrick Coate, who submitted to quite a bit of the other categories. I think new photographers, he submitted a lot. But very cool image here of a thrush, I believe, some type of thrush. Yeah, I want to say that's some type of thrush. And very cool setting, very cool light. I think the light is really what sells this one for me as well. You got some really nice lighting in the background as well as on the bird itself. So very cool. Definitely feels like it lives up to the feeling or the setting of where a thrush is found at. You feel like you represent that quite well in this image. So love the tones as well, like Andrew said. All right, another one by Patrick Coate. And this is another one of a belted kingfisher. I think this is his third belted kingfisher image that he submitted across categories. So very cool image here as well. Kind of looking up into the heavens with that edit, and very cool to see there. The perching positioning is really cool on this composition. All right, another one by Patrick Coate, and this is a great blue heron. Great blue heron, again with kind of that edited light ray that he's got going on into it, and the great blue heron standing out. This is a nice scenic shot. This is probably found maybe not, but during nesting season when great blue herons are always on the tops of trees, it feels like. So very cool to see this kind of environment, and love this image as well. All right, we got Nathan Lebach here, or Nathan Leanbach, and very cool image here of a gray catbird. This is an awesome image. I love the foreground. The detail is so nice on this image. I actually feel like this is kind of more of a portrait image, but regardless, very cool foreground, kind of hiding up the feet and the part where it would have been chopped out of frame. So very cool job with that. And I love the background too, because the background is enough out of focus to where it's not distracting, but you still get some of the details of the leaf, and that's really cool. And I like how the leaves kind of make a frame almost around, like a second frame around this catbird. So very cool there, and great shot there, Nathan. All right, we got Tate Graham of a barred owl, I believe, according to what you guys said earlier. I think this is the same. Barred owl by Tate Graham, out set in this mysterious, moody woods kind of setting. So very cool to see this shot. Great shot here. And yeah, very, very interesting with the tones and the mood of this image. I think that's really the accent of it for me. So very cool image, Tate. All right, we got Grant Webster, who was on here earlier in the previous live. Grant Webster with his image of the Eastern Kingbird. Super cool. He really has a knack, I've learned, for taking those sunrise images where it's just very moody, very fiery in the sky. Great image, great color, all that good stuff. And yeah, so cool to see. And I love how he really made this Eastern Kingbird, which is really a colorless bird, pop with this colorful background. And the mood just complements it so well. So great job here, Grant. And Grant now with his, I believe, man, I don't know what type of waterfowl this is in the distance, but this was a finalist in the birdscape category. Such a cool moody image with just this mist evaporating off the water in the distance, those branches all surrounding it. Very moody, very cool, very dark, and it very much feels like it sets you into the birdscape of this image, which is really, I think, why this image does well. So very cool shot here, Grant. All right, we got one more by Grant in this category, and this is of some wood ducks. This is a really cool creative take, and the reason why I think this is so interesting is because everything's so orange, right? Except for those whites that you get kind of pulled towards the blues, and it feels like they're almost like these neon light strips coming off of the wood ducks. So I really like that about this shot. It's a very creative edit on it for accenting it, and yeah, super cool here. Super cool image. That color contrast is just amazing. And yeah, I believe these actually are wood ducks. Mandarin ducks are orange. They have like a similar crest behind them, but they're orange and have some other colors incorporated in them. These are the North American wood ducks. Cool. All right. And then this image here by Jonal Lopez. Once again, Jonal. Wow, what a cool action shot of this probably golden eagle diving out of the sky. So cool. What an amazing image, and what a difficult capture. This location, this is, I bet more than anything, if Jonal's still in the chat, I'd love to know if this was the same location that you got the other golden eagle shot, because man, this location looks the same, but this must be a great location, or you just must have had a really good day out there. This is such a cool shot. So great shot there, Jonal, and very cool to see. All right, and to Crystal Miglior, who was one of the winners in the creative category, but this was a fantastic image that also made the finals in the birdscape category. Just that light, just barely touching and accenting the top of the great blue heron's head and the eyes. So cool, such a nice touch amidst this totally dark and moody, shaded, shadowy background. So cool to see all that, and I love that about this shot. So very cool to see there. Good job, Crystal. And Crystal's next image, actually, California. That's super cool, Jonal. Didn't know you were a California guy like me. Let me know. I'm just because I'm totally just curious. Let me know in the chat what city you're from. Yeah, this was one of my favorite photos of the competition too, Lance. This image of the great blue heron. This was actually one that I probably would have voted to place in the birdscape. I loved this one so much. Okay, next image was by Crystal again, Miglior, and this one was one that actually placed for her. I think this got third place, second or third place if I remember correctly. And this was an awesome image by Crystal as well. Man, really encompasses what birdscape really means, right? With just the setting and the scene. And what I think is the most fantastic thing about this image, and I think what really popped for me, is this bird is so, we all know how big a great egret is, but yet it's so tiny compared to these little pampas grasses behind it. I forget the name of it, but yeah, I absolutely love the scale of this image, and that is really what I think stood out to the judges as well and made the judges really excited. So very cool image here by Crystal. Great shot, and Crystal did a phenomenal job in the competition. Another image by Crystal. Let's see, right here. Another image by Crystal that did not make it into the finals, but it was also great, was an American robin. I think what makes this image great is just all the colors mixed into the shot. Man, there are so many beautiful colors mixed in the shot with the reds, the oranges, the greens. I mean, even you got these berries going on all around it, the yellows and the light, from the light in the background, the orange in the tummy of the American robin. A beautiful blend of colors. So great job here, Crystal, and fantastic image. And Gilroy, that's cool. I think that's about like 2-3 hours away from me. I can't remember, but That's awesome. Maybe you'll have to show me one of your spots sometime, Jonal. All right, so we got Christer Nyquist. I'm probably pronouncing that last name really wrong, but a birdscape image here of some sort of, I don't know what the bird is, but some sort of bird in kind of like in this. I believe that's actually underground almost, or in like a little cave in the ground. I don't know how you would describe that, but that is super cool, super interesting. And yeah, very, very cool. I think just the setting is really what is cool about that, the uniqueness of that. I mean, you never see an image of a bird in the ground like that. So that's very cool to see. Very good job, Christer. All right, we got an image by Brett Gallagher once again. It's a nest somewhere. Yeah, it does look like a nest, but I'm wondering, I think that nest is underground, but I'm not or in the ground, but I'm not sure. So this is an image by Brett Gallagher. Very cool image of a bunch of wood duck chicks, baby chicks, on a log out in the distance. So very nice, very smooth, and very clean. And I think what really actually is the coolest part about this image is just the reflections down below. They are just crystal clear reflections. So that is really cool how you see so many little baby wood duck chicks all curled up, and then you see their reflections on the bottom side. So that's very cool about this image. So great job there, Brett. Another image by Brett of a common loon feeding a chick a fish. Wow, that is awesome. That is a very cool intimate detail there. You got some of the aquatic plant hanging off the bill of the loon as well, which is pretty cool. And so very cool intimate moment and story being shared here, and that's really the selling point for me on this one. All right, we're getting close to being done with this birdscape category. Got about maybe 8 images left. And moving on to Sergius Hanan's image in the birdscape category. I think this won 3rd place. So Sergius Hanan won 3rd place with this image in the birdscape category. Wow, what a fantastic image. I mean, this image is just phenomenal. The lighting is just incredible. The way that he captured that, and I asked him, I verified whether this was, photoshopped lens flare or not, and he said no, he took the lens hood off and made sure to capture it, in a certain type of a way. Such a good image by Sergius, and fantastic moody image, and the way that he accented the light in certain areas was just phenomenal. Just an amazing image. I mean, this image tells a story, has an amazing aesthetic to it. So fantastic job, Sergius. Yeah, the lighting on this one is fantastic. Cool. This one is by Steve Howard. This is some sort of bird. I actually don't know this bird. Let me know if you guys know in the comments, but some sort of bird hidden back in the brush underneath the kind of behind the leaves and stuff like that. So very cool image here as well. Great job of getting it amidst this whole scene and setup. So very, very cool here, and great shot here, Steve. Got another image by Steve of an albatross, it looks like. And that's not me cutting off it in the chat. Like, the image is actually just cut off on the wing there on the right side and left side. So I didn't cut that out on accident on the live. But very cool image. And yeah, so cool to see this albatross. This is a hard bird to find and capture. So must have been on some sort of boating tour or something. And very cool to see. So great shot, Steve. And super cool to see that. So nice having you in the chat. Thanks for sticking around. And yeah, need to start taking off my lens hood too, apparently. I never do that. All right, we got Jeffrey Weimer here with a common gallinule, I believe, perched up in a tree. And man, this is a cool image as well, looking out into the forest, or kind of the setting that he's in, or maybe looking out to the lake beyond the forest. And so very cool to see here as well, this swamp bird up in a tree that you don't often see too much. So this is a cool image and great shot there. Nice contrast in this image. Here's another one by Jeffrey Weimer. Man, this one's really good. This is my favorite of these two that he submitted here. This one of some type of warbler. I forget what type that is. But yeah, wow, what a cool image. Those pink flowers are just phenomenal. Those pink flowers contrast against that greenish yellow in the background, and then contrast against the yellow of the bird. Just make for a beautiful image. The colors in this image are phenomenal, and definitely is a top tier image. So great job on the shot, Jeffrey. And yeah, super cool to see here. All right, got another image by Stephen Parlinfine. This is a very cool birdscape image. Literally nothing but birds in this image. I don't know if there's a single gap where you can see anything but birds, but man, that is impressive. I think this is mostly all snow geese, maybe some Ross's geese mixed in there, but that has got to be thousands of snow geese in this one frame. So fantastic shot there. Just what a moment. That must be so cool to capture in person, and just great job here, Stephen. That is an amazing image. So very cool moment to capture. And then here's another one by Stephen of two swans. Stephen Parlinfine with two swans flying out in the distance against this fall kind of autumn background. Super cool to see that. And I love how you kind of get the barn beneath it. That's really cool to see the barn with the two swans framed just symmetrically above it. So very cool setting and scene there against the hill. And I think that's just like a really unique setting. I think for like an urban type shot or an urban type category, that would have been a really interesting shot. So very cool to see that too, Stephen. And glad to have you in the chat. I didn't know you were in the chat. So nice having you on here, Stephen. All right. And now we got the last image of the birdscape category before we move on to the portrait category. This is by Robbie Noel. Yeah, this is a cool one because of that worm. Wow, that is nasty. That would freak me out coming across that in the water. But man, that is cool how Robbie was able to capture that moment. Yeah, so cool to see this image of some type of heron, or egret. I actually don't remember which one this is. This might be is this a little blue? I don't know. This is an eastern one, I think, or something. But yeah, very cool to see this moment. That is a cool action shot. So very cool to see. Awesome. Well, that wraps up our birdscape category. Nice having you on, Stephen and Chinakan. No worries on being late. We actually, I can't remember if you submitted any to the portrait. We only had the portrait category left, but we went through all of yours in the birdscape and creative new photographers. I can't remember what categories you submitted to, but we did. And you had some awesome thoughts. So I'd go back through, I went through them sequentially, new photographers, creative, birdscape. I'd go back through them after and check out my thoughts on them if you were able to, or if you want to see what I had to say about them. But yeah, but very cool. All right, you guys, we're going to hop into the portrait category. Let me get this set up and pulled up really quick. Okay, this was the largest category. We had about 20 more images in this category than we did the birdscape. Okay, let's see. All right, you guys. Whew. Let's see. Come on. All right. You guys, I'm getting hungry. I have not eaten in quite a long time. So I'm getting pretty hungry. Oh, my brain. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. For those of you who've been sticking around this whole time, man, I am so glad you guys are here. Thank you guys so much for being on here. This is super awesome. I'm glad you guys are showing up, showing this much support with everything that's going on. It's just an honor to have you guys on here. Thank you so much for being so encouraging in the chat. That was my favorite part about the awards, was seeing all this stuff. And yeah, it is just such an honor to have you guys on here. I definitely won't forget to hydrate. I'm about to get a drink. And yeah, there we go. There we go. Andrew's saying it's great background viewing while editing. That is true. That is literally exactly what I would be doing. So I'm glad that you guys are able to do that. And Paul's homesick. I feel you, man. I'm in the same. Yeah, I woke up this morning sick and I was like, oh no. But thank goodness I'm not really sniffling. So luckily we don't have any of that going on in the chat, because that would not have been fun for you guys. So yeah, on one more note before we hop into the portrait, actually I'm gonna get some water really quick. Should have put it next to me. So before we hop into the portrait, thanks, Klaus. Thanks for being on here. Appreciate you. Writing a paper for school. Yep. Self-care. Getting ready for work. Yeah, I love that. I love all that. Hopefully we'll get to your images journal in this category that made the finalists before you had to leave. So just so you guys know, man, I got so busy with this Bird Burger Photo Awards that I like had to stop going out and doing wildlife photography for a whole month straight. Like I did virtually no wildlife photography for the whole month of second half of August through the first half of September. And I was just getting out again this week. I went out yesterday, then I wound up getting sick. I was gonna go out again today after doing this live, but then I got sick. So no longer am I think I'm gonna go out today. I'm gonna heal up, make sure I'm good. That way I can hopefully go out next week strong. But all that to say, I've not been out doing wildlife photography for a while, which is unusual, but it was necessary with how busy I was and running all this stuff. So all that to say, on my main channel, you follow my main channel, I will not have a video out probably for another 2 weeks at least, if not 3 weeks. And that's me trying to rush it out in 2 weeks. So, I appreciate you guys just staying patient with me on the main channel. I'm like so itching to create another film for you guys, but I like to do it high quality. You guys know how I like to do it. I like to do it high quality, really take my time with it. Usually for each film, I spend like 3 weeks on it. Usually I spend like the first week just filming, planning, doing everything. And then the next week, I'm usually spending about the whole next week, like recording my voiceover, editing it, all of that good stuff. And then the final week is when I'm building up the hype with the marketing and all that stuff and the previews. So yeah, all that to say that I'd love to get one out soon, but it may be a little bit, so be patient with me. I had more important things like this whole award ceremony to run on. So yeah, so thanks for being patient with me, but I hope to get that stuff back out to you guys soon. So got out of getting your wisdom teeth out. This is a great thing to watch after your wisdom teeth. I bet this is probably way more exciting after you got your wisdom teeth out, if you wound up getting drugged for your wisdom teeth. So thanks, Jonal. Thanks for being on here. Appreciate you guys supporting me. Thanks, Chinakan, for if that's how you pronounce your name. I'm so sorry if that's not. But yeah, thank you for supporting me also. Yeah, so yeah, I would love to go to India sometime, Gray Franklin, but budget-wise, that may not be very possible. But yeah, appreciate your support. But someday, if I do, that would be awesome. I would love to do that someday. And thanks, Barbara, for joining us as well. And thanks for your encouragement and support. All right, you guys, let's hop into the last category, the portrait category. And yeah, actually, before I do that, one last thing. If you guys haven't heard about it already, haven't seen it, I do have memberships now up and available on my main channel. I did a really soft launch, honestly. I'm not like trying to push them at all. But since you guys are joining me on the live chat, I'd love if you guys did want to take $2 out of your monthly budget to go support me. The hope is that if I can get, a decent amount of those, then I'll be able to, it'll give me a little bit of extra freedom and time to be able to do what I'm doing with this channel. So yeah, so anyways, if you guys do have the extra $2 to spare a month, I'd greatly appreciate if you go support my channel, my Jeremy Knight channel, my main channel, over there, and just do a $2 a month membership. You can cancel at any time, and you also get really cool badges next to your name that level up as each month goes by that you wind up being a member. So you get really cool badges that are in your name that recognize you as a member in the comments, and I'll always give priorities to members as well on responding to comments. So I'd appreciate you guys if you would consider doing that. It really helps support me. I get paid drastically less than minimum wage to do this. So at the size I am with the sponsorships, even with the sponsorships I get and the ad revenue I get from YouTube and stuff like that, it's very, very low what I wind up getting paid a month. But glad to have you guys. I do it because I love it, not because I'm getting paid a ton for it yet. So with that being said, let's hop into the portrait category. Oh, we got something wrong there. Let's see. That is the right one. Cool. All right. So we'll see if I can go to Germany. That would be awesome. Pay for my ticket, Lance, and I'll be there. All right. So first image in the portrait category, the biggest category of the Bird Burger Photo Awards, we have Joe Rousseau, who submitted this image into the portrait category of this, maybe a Cooper's hawk. Some type of, I don't know, Cooper's hawk, sharp-shinned hawk. It's a Cooper's Hawk, according to the title. Cooper's Hawk. Yeah, just an amazing, amazing image here. Man, the way that it was so sharp on this bird, as well as the raindrops flying down in the background. I don't know how well you can see that on YouTube with the quality. There's rain streaks all over the background. Such a good image. The light in this image is just phenomenal, incredible, and amazing, amazing shot by Joe. Yeah, so good job there, Joe. It does seem like it's a Cooper's Hawk, at least according to his title. Seems like it might be. The tail feathers look more rounded too, so it would make sense. But great shot, Joe. All right, another one by Joe. This one actually made the finals. So this was one of a swan with the kind of string of water just dripping off the beak. So cool here. And I love how clear and subtle the water is all around. Very glassy smooth, except for the spot where the droplets are dropping into. So that is a cool, nice little touch that you don't often get to see in droplet type images as much. So that's very cool about this image. Love that about that shot, Joe. All right, this is an image by Lance Chenault. Lance is in our chat. Lance is paying for me to come to Germany. Just kidding. But amazing image by Lance of a great blue heron. I really like the isolation of the light. It feels like the light, even though the light is hitting all the water around him too, I'm sure, it feels like he did a really good job of just really accenting the light, that nice warm light on the great blue heron. In the way that you edited it, Lance, and the way that you took that shot. So fantastic shot there, and very cool pose. The pose is super cool here of the great blue heron. So great shot, Lance, and thanks for joining us on the chat today. All right, we got an image here by Scott Waddell. Scott Waddell in his image of the wood duck. This is a cool head-on image, directly head-on, perfectly symmetrically head-on pretty much with the face. And so that is a very interesting, kind of derpy looking wood duck there. And I love that image. The water droplets on the grass and then on the wood duck itself are really cool as well, and make it for a very interesting and detailed image. So very cool. And yeah, we got Benjamin Mesa here with a great blue heron as well. Very cool moment with the droplets again flying off from him shaking the fish, I'm sure, or maybe the fish, actually both, from him shaking the fish and the fish shaking itself. And very cool image here. What I like most is kind of this interesting little accent with the tail feather whipping around. That is cool. It shows the motion in the head of the great blue heron to me. So that's awesome to see. Very cool shot there by Benjamin, and cool image. All right, we got Jimmy Miller here with the coyote shot. This is a very cool image as well. I think this might have been the only coyote shot we got into the whole competition, but I'm surprised we didn't get more. But very cool image here. This feels very frosty in the morning, very cold. I'm not sure if that was actual frost or just because it's so highly exposed on those kind of dead little stuff in the foreground, but yeah, regardless, very, very cool, and cool image here as well by Jimmy. Does look very cute. Cool. Another image by Jimmy Miller is this image of an elk kind of calling out. So cool there. I love that about this image, how this image feels very powerful with the way that he captured the horns, or sorry, the prongs of the elk, the antlers, that's the word that I'm looking for, the antlers of the elk, and the way that he captured him calling in the river. So very cool moment. It must be so cool to get to witness a moment like that in the river. So yeah, so yeah, I guess a couple people did have that. I think Paul, your comment on thinking it was only birds, I know some other people had that confusion too. I think this was because it's, you know, the channel is Bird Burger, so people kind of just assumed it was all bird photos, but only in the birdscape category it was only bird photos. So maybe I'll try to highlight that a little bit better in next competitions, that it's not only birds. So, and yeah, very cool rack. All right, we got one here by Jimmy Miller. So once again, Jimmy Miller, he had the coyote, the elk, and now these bears here. And this is a cool moment where he's capturing some bears crossing a road, it looks like, in the winter. And such good detail on the fur here. So very, very cool shot. The way he captured all three looking the same direction feels very cohesive, very nicely put together, and very nicely planned even though it may or may not have been planned. But great shot here, Jimmy. Got one of a fox here by Jimmy as well. Yeah, family trip on the last one. I love that. Got one here of a fox by Jimmy Miller as well. And this is a very cool image. I love the exposure on this one, the isolation as a portrait image as well. Very cool to see. And yeah, once again, a great shot by Jimmy. And Jimmy's got another one coming up. Got a grizzly cub. This is a really tight portrait shot. Yeah, these are probably the majority of these are in Yellowstone, like you said, Lance. But yeah, this is a very tight portrait shot up on a grizzly cub, apparently, according to his title. So that was very cool to see. Very cool to see how close he was able to get up here. And I like the little nose scrunch going on. That's the nice little kind of accent and action going on in this image. So very cool to see this image here by Jimmy. Got an image by Jimmy here of a grizzly once again. So Jimmy Miller one more time. This is his final image. And yeah, what a cool shot here again of the powerful grizzly bear. Man, the hunch on their back is just so cool. And the way that he captured this definitely displays, just the way he captured it so thick, so filling in the frame, displays the grizzly's power very well. And I love the power displayed in this image. All right, we got Rick Evans, who submitted into every category. Here's Rick once again with some fantastic images. Man, this is a great portrait image showing the baby and the cormorant looking down on the nest. What I really love about this image is the background is just this beautiful cloudy white blue mix in the water. And then you have like this, beautiful foreground setting up the frame of the nest that really helps to eliminate the distractions down here in the details of the rocks. But then the actual pose itself is just phenomenal on the bird. And then you got the baby down there. It's just amazing. This is one that I was kind of surprised didn't make the portrait as well. But we had so many good portraits that it's like, man, it's so hard to say anything. But the funny thing is though, man, those babies are ugly. Those babies look like they're straight out of like Lord of the Rings. For those of you who are watching the new Lord of the Rings series, Rings of Power, that looks like almost like a baby Nazgul or something. So very funny to see, but very cool image by Rick. Another image by Rick Evans is one of a Sora here at sunrise. So very cool to see. Kind of got the glimpses of the reflection in the water. And ultimately the colors, the blue and yellow contrast in colors and a little bit the orange and green is just phenomenal throughout this whole image. So I really like the color scheme in this image, and Rick really did a good job of capturing the colors well. Got another one by Rick Evans here of a tree swallow. A pretty bright exposure. Yeah, the lighting was great in the Sora shot. You're totally right, Mike. Here's another one of a tree swallow right here by Rick Evans. And this is a very highly exposed image. Very beautiful, beautiful image here. And what a great shot here of a tree swallow. Very nice and detailed. And I love the engagement in this image. Another one by Rick Evans. This is a great one too, of a snowy plover. Man, this image is phenomenal. I love the way that he kind of got the sand kind of covering up that foreground leading up to the snowy plover, and then the background's all completely blurred too. You have a completely isolated subject from a depth of field standpoint. And so this is a phenomenal image, and the lighting really sells this image, makes it very, very beautiful and powerful. And then the detail is just tack sharp on the snowy plover, and the bokeh balls in the background are just amazing too. The bokeh balls just really are gorgeous. So this is another one that could have made the finalists for sure. So great job, Rick, and great sets of images. Whoopsie, wrong one. Let's see. Got one more, or we got actually two more by Rick, but this is another one by Rick Evans. Wow, what a beautiful image of a western sandpiper. And I think what makes this one interesting is the way that the water is flowing off the back. Man, first of all, the water is so still. That's amazing to capture that still water. The color of the water is amazing. But the way that the water is flowing off the back in kind of like these these streams of liquid is very, very interesting while he's bathing. So the shutter speed must have been incredibly high here to capture this bathing bird. But fantastic image here, and I love that shot. So great shot, Rick, once again. And Rick Evans' final image is that of the willet, and I will not get it wrong this time. It's a willet, not a yellow legs like I accidentally said before. But the willet here, beautiful bird in flight shot once again against the ocean. Yeah, what a beautiful image here of a willet in flight. Very good getting this challenging bird in flight shot. So that's all by Rick. Let's move on to Stefano. Stefano is a student in my mentorship program. So Stefano has some great stuff. Man, I love this this image of the fox squirrel, red squirrel. I can't remember what it's called. Fox squirrel or red squirrel. I don't remember which of the two it's called, but you UK people, you European people know this, so let me know in the chat. But yeah, what a cool image right here of the squirrel. I really like the pose here. He feels like with the paw kind of curled up into his tummy, kind of feels like he's like ready to pounce almost, which is super cool because we all know the squirrel's not really that aggressive, but they are pretty feisty sometimes with them, themselves. But very cool to see this kind of pose. Really sells the image, and I love the ears there. Red squirrel. Sounds good. Red squirrel. Thanks for the thought there. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I was like fox squirrel, red squirrel, because it reminds me of the fox because the ears. That's why I always think that in my brain. But you're right. Red squirrel. All right. So moving on. Another one by Stefano. And this is an image of a mallard kind of under a bath shower here. Splash of rain droplets. Very cool image here as well, capturing that kind of motion and that action going on. And the action is really the highlight of this image. And one more by Stefano, and this is a very cool image of a house sparrow. What I really like about this one is the mood. The mood feels very cool. I feel like house sparrows are so often like in environments, you capture them in environments that are, even though they're such a common bird in the city, right? They're in environments that are kind of plain, kind of very, broad daylight type of vibes. This vibe feels very moody and mysterious here, and especially with the sharpness of the thorns going on all along the branches and the thicket and all those other features. It really makes it really unique and interesting in that way. So I love that about this shot of the house sparrow here, as well as a little nice touch of some type of insect in its beak. So very cool here. And more so great student than teachers. Teacher, just Jimmy. I'm just kidding, but definitely a combo. Ben Hardina right here with his image of a hummingbird. I like getting common species. Yeah, I love your comment too, Mike, about the common species getting attention. I like how we got a lot of common species as well. We got some definitely exciting and rare ones, right? But we got a lot of common ones that were done so well. And lots of common ones made the finalists. So it shows that you don't need to capture the most rare thing out there to be able to, take a good wildlife photography image. So great stuff. So back to Ben Hardina and his image of the hummingbird here. Very cool image here with the gorget of the hummingbird, just so nicely kind of, that fade in it. And the colors are so good here, and the depth of field isolation is absolutely spot on. So great shot here by Ben. All right, we got Alex Timmons here with his image of the deer, the doe, and actually, no, this is a male, I think. But regardless, yeah, great image here. Nice moody shot by Alex, and very cool to see this kind of moment. And actually, his next image is also, or the next image is also his, which is actually kind of cooler. So I'm gonna show this one. This is a interesting moment of a red-winged blackbird. Again, this is one of those things where either for a funny category or an action category, it probably would have done so much better than it did for the portrait category, but still it's a great portrait image. But like if we had an action category or a funny category, this is like one of those images that would have done great, right? Because this is such a weird, funny, unique behavior that if it was down to a behavior category, this would have been really, really awesome for that. So this is super cool. I'd love to know. Oh, it looks like we actually have Alex in the chat. cool. Nice to have you here, Alex. I'd love to know if you want to chat into the chat, if this was like a singular red-winged blackbird that you just happen to catch in a moment like this, picking like bugs off of it, or if it happened to be like maybe you're around a whole flock and they were just kind of flying around and constantly doing stuff like this. So let us know in the chat. But very cool image, Alex. All right, let's move on. So we got Sam Bray once again with an image of a mountain goat. I think she submitted one to the creative category as well, but yeah, very, very cool image here. Very nice isolated portrait, and very cool, nice close-up portrait shot. And I love the kind of cold mood is very cool here too, in the sense of like maybe it's pre-morning or, you know, post-sunset, in a very cool moment like that. So very cool. Lance, it's like on me, isn't it? Yeah. Let's see. So Alex says, just the one, was following her around for a good 10 minutes or so. Wow. Got some shots of her in mid shaking it off too. That's hilarious. That is so cool. That's a cool moment. I've never seen that happen before. So that's a cool moment. Cool. So moving on, we have Keith Griffiths. So Keith, he's actually he runs a YouTube channel called KG's Photography, and he has some very cool stuff too. So make sure to go check out his YouTube channel if you haven't before. But image of a kingfisher. I think this was, oh man, I'm trying to remember if this was one of his recent vlogs. It may have been, but yeah, very cool to see this image as well. The lighting is just fantastic. I love this kind of interesting bokeh up here, actually, that's kind of messed with by the branches and the twigs or whatever that may have been. And so that was very cool to see. And the lighting and the color scheme in this whole image is just very beautifully blended together. So great job here, Keith. And I love your stuff in this image. Cool. Moving on to Isaac Rath. So Isaac with his image here of the curlew. So very cool image here, Isaac, and very good, very cool bird in flight shot. I like how there's more to the background than just a pure blue sky, but you got the clouds kind of, you know, blending in as well. So that's cool, and great job with the bird in flight. The lighting on the kingfisher in the last one was great. Isaac Rath once again got one of a bison. Or a buffalo. Very cool. Yeah, this is super cool. Or a bison. Gosh, bison. I don't know why I'm messing this up today. This is American. I should know this, guys. But anyways, so very, very cool. I like how you're getting kind of the moment where he's maybe stomping up a bunch of that dry dirt or dust in the ground, or even maybe ashes, you know, never know. But very cool how there's kind of that atmospheric effect going on, and great capture there, set behind the flowers. So very cool shot there, Isaac. Got another one by Isaac. Oh, so it looks like, I believe this is a coyote. Looks like we did get another coyote, but very cool here. Shot of a coyote by Isaac. And very cool moment. I think what sells this is the cool pose that's going on with the face here, with the tongue sticking out and the jaws kind of hanging wide open. So close up, so cool. Man, this must have been maybe intimidating to catch so close up. So very cool to see, and very cool facial, as Chinakan said. All right, we got Jimmy Svensson, who Jimmy is in the chat still. He won the new photographers category. So great, congratulations again on winning the new photographers category, first place, Jimmy. But yeah, this was another puffin image. So you must have either good access to puffins or had a really great trip. But very cool image here, portrait image of the puffin. I like the way you kind of vignetted it to kind of give really the accent onto the face and the head. So very, very cool there. And the detail is just phenomenal. I mean, everything is just tack sharp on that puffin. So great job, Jimmy, and beautiful image. All right, we got Richard Fink. Made a vlog on it. Oh, cool. Jimmy, if you're so I'm assuming by vlog you mean that you're a YouTuber, or you make YouTube videos. So let everyone know in the chat, let everyone know your YouTube channel. That way everyone can check it out if they want. As well as Andrew. I know Andrew's in this chat. Andrew's is just his name, so you can check out Andrew's. I'll check out yours too after Jimmy. So, because I don't know I've never seen your channel, but yeah, I know Andrew, who's also in this chat, his name, he has some great content too. So make sure you check out Andrew if you haven't checked out his stuff either. All right, let me adjust this really quick. Okay. Okay. All right. Next image, we got Richard Fink here. Richard Fink with a house sparrow in flight lifting off of the perch. Super cool shot here. Very cool action shot here. And I love the wing spread here. The wing spread is so cool. Kind of like Jonal was saying earlier, like if you were to outline it, take a silhouette of it, could be a logo. Very cool wing spread there. Very, very cool. And cool. Looks like saw your name about that, Jimmy, or your answer about that, so everyone can check it out there. All right, next image is Kathy Overfield. So Kathy had the bald eagle image in the other one, whereas catching the fish in flight. This is an awesome image. She actually, the title I just noticed is named Double Vision, and makes sense. This is a really powerful image of two moose. Man, this is so cool seeing them kind of side by side, set one behind the other, and looking off in the same direction. And those antlers just look incredibly powerful and amazing. So amazing image here. Such a cool image. I love the foreground and the background offset. And you can see the water, which gives context to the story of they're going there to drink the water most likely. So phenomenal shot here. Great, great shot. And one more by Kathy Overfield. Man, this is a phenomenal shot too of a fox portrait. Super engaging on that fox. Man, there were so many good portrait images, guys. Like, I mean, every category was highly competitive, but the portrait category not only had the most images, but there were also so many that fit the criteria so well that it was so hard to for those judges to judge and eliminate it down. But amazing fox portrait here. I love the setting. I love the scene, and the way that the focus just gets totally blurred out by the time it's at the butt is just so cool, but the face is so perfectly tack sharp. So very cool. Great lighting here. And yeah, I love the symmetry in the previous moose one, like you mentioned, Jimmy. All right, we got Sean Theo. Oh gosh, he told me earlier, Theodoratos, I believe. Sean Theodoratos with his image of the juvenile bald eagle. This is a really cool image too. What I like most about this is, yeah, it's a great bird in flight shot, very well frozen in flight, great freeze frame. But what I like is that there's these colors that are mixed into the background, sunset or sunrise, whatever time it may have been, but they're interesting and unique colors that are not just the typical blue sky background. Even though there wasn't clouds in this image, you get like still some sort of colors in here and a color scheme and a color fade in the background. So I like that about this image, and very cool. Amazing job capturing it, just perfectly tack sharp, and great job, Sean. All right, we got another one by Sean, and this is one of a house sparrow perched on top of a fence post, a wooden fence post. And this one is really cool. My favorite thing about this one is the background. I love the light streaks in the background with that color from the grass reeds or whatever that may have been in the background. That is very cool. And the way that it gives that effect and fans out kind of is very nice and really gives an amazing background to this image. This background is phenomenal. So great job there. Lighting's great, and very cool image again by Sean. And we got another one, last one by Sean in this category. We got a red-winged blackbird perched on a cattail. So this is a very cool moment again. I like kind of this composition. It's kind of uneasy enough, but stable enough to where it looks really nice, complements itself really well. And really nice and tack sharp on the red-winged blackbird. And the cattail is really cool to see in such detail too. So very cool moment. The kind of positioning, kind of the pompous kind of spread out or look off is very cool as well. And I love this image. So great job, Sean, with all three again. All right, we got Ray Kilham once again with a snowy owl. Very cool isolated snowy owl image. Foreground and background totally separated off and very engaging. So very, very cool image. Good job not overexposing things, and fantastic job on this snowy owl image. All right, got Romer Antrobus, I believe is how you pronounce the name. Man, this is a great image of, man, I forget this warbler name. I saw it down in Mexico, and now I don't remember it when I was there once. Yeah, amazing warbler. image. I love the colors in this warbler. First of all, the depth of field is so shallow. It's amazing. You got that eye so beautifully tack sharp. By the time the back of the bird comes, it's way out of focus already, or nicely out of focus, I should say. And then those nice, again, those the background is well enough blurred and out of focus to where not distracting at all, but yet at the same time it's enough in focus where you can see those nice cool kind of leaf shapes, and I like that kind of creativity. So those feathers really are a trip. And great job on this image, Romer. Wrong thing again. All right, and one more by Romer. Yeah, the patterns were really cool in the last one. And this is of a common, I believe this is a common yellowthroat of by Romer again. And very cool setting. Again, what I like most about this one is also a lot of things similar to last, like the detail, the depth of field, all of that. But I like how this one kind of has a frame with the leaves around it that really make it look really nice. So great job here, and fantastic stuff on this image. So beautiful, beautiful shot here. Yeah, beautiful foreground as well. All right, we got Gustav Franklin here. Gustav with his image of some type of woodpecker. I'm not sure which type that is, but beautiful, beautiful image here as well. That red really pops against the green. I think that's my favorite part, is how well that red pops, how engaging that face is from the woodpecker. So beautiful image here by Gustav, and great shot as well. All right, we got Troy DeMercado again, and awesome image. I believe this would be, I believe this would be a common raven. Yeah, this is a really nice, engaging image here. Excuse me. I really like the eye in this one. The eye pops out quite a lot in the reflection in the eye, especially against the all black feathers of the bird that are in the shade right around it. So really good job in capturing the raven here, and really nice scenery and setting around it as well. I like how the gray kind of just naturally kind of works in with the raven, the blackness of the raven, but yet the depth of field is different enough to where it doesn't feel like it blends in too much. All right, and the next image. So this was the first place winner of the portrait category for the Bird Burger Photo Awards by Christopher Smith. Man, this image was incredible. This is such a good image, and I had no surprise when it came down to this image winning the portrait category. And it was so close to winning that grand prize award too. It was one vote away from winning from Nathan Watson's image. But man, just what a beautiful image. The way that he captured the blue of the underside of the beak is just incredible, and also the angle and the way that the neck is pulled up, and then you get the tail kind of fanned out in the background, just incredible. And if you guys didn't know, this guy, I don't remember if we mentioned it on the live event, but he's actually 17 years old, so he's a young dude. He has a lot of talent and a lot of potential. So amazing shot. And yeah, thanks for everyone who's encouraging everyone in the chat. So love the stuff going on. So next one, we have one more by Christopher Smith, and that is his image of a black-headed grosbeak. And this is a cool image, kind of against a perch of it singing out into the abyss, and very cool, kind of almost a high-key image, but not. But it has a very soft white feel to it, and I like that about this image, how the orange really is the color and the main attraction of this image. So super cool. And yeah, like you said, Mike, on the last image, he captured both his eyes in focus, which was just incredible, and the blue is just amazing. So love that. All right, we got Lolana Easley again with her image of, oh goodness, I think this is a emperor. No, not an emperor goose. Oh man, I don't remember. One of you guys will probably know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I'm forgetting. But yeah, beautiful image here. I really like the curl of the neck. I think that makes this image really, really cool. Yeah, the way that the body positioning is in this image is, I think, one of my favorite parts about this image. So very cool shot there by Lolana, and cool image to see. And moving on to, let's see, we got Matthew. Matthew Ulmer again. Matthew, this image was a finalist in the portrait category. Beautiful image here of a rock wren, just with that singular red bokeh ball, like fiery red bokeh ball in the background. And I actually never got the chance to ask him what it was that created that in the background, but I really like the way that he just has a singular bokeh ball that just really almost feels like it's like a setting sun behind the rock wren. So beautiful, phenomenal image, super well done, super well executed, and was so cool to see. So great job to Matthew. We got Matthew Ulmer once again with his image of the horned grebe. Really nice, glassy, smooth water behind and in front of it. Nice job getting nice and eye level right on top of the water. And the horned grebe body positioning is engaging, cool. The lighting catching it is very cool. And what a phenomenal image once again by Matthew. So great shot here and great lighting. It looks like Matthew's actually in the chat, and he said this is a building catching the sun. Wow, that's cool. That's very cool. I would never have guessed that if you would have told that. So I'm assuming you mean it's like a reflection through the glass of a building, or on the glass of a building. So that's super cool. Didn't know you were in here, Matthew. Good having you on here. But that is really cool to see. So thanks for sharing how you took that. And yeah, that's awesome. All right. Got another one by Matthew Ulmer. This is one of a wren. I forget what type of wren this is, so let me know in the chat, Matthew. But some type of wren singing again. This actually made the finalists as well. So Matthew had 2 in the finalists. And this was a really cool image where the light is really just hitting the wren itself perched atop this, sharp or this pointy rock. And then the background just completely darked out. So it just really pulls all your attention onto the wren. And I really like that about this image. So very, very cool there. The ray of light is gorgeous, like Mike said. And what a fantastic image, Matthew. So good job on that. All right, moving on. We have Kolme Dinu Chal. It's the same name that I probably butchered earlier. Kolme Dinu Child. I don't know how to say it, so forgive me. It was my lame American accent. But yeah, very cool image again of some type of kingbird, I believe. And such a cool image. I love the streaks in the background, the very blurred out streaks heading up towards the top right corner in the background. Really make for a nice background against this perched, isolated bird. And what a fantastic and phenomenal image here as well. So good job. All right. And let's see, by the same guy, we got the guillemot once again. And this is beautiful in the foreground, just framing the guillemot so well. And then you have the background very dark and offset behind it. A very nice, only in focus is the guillemot in this image. And that really makes this image look really nice. So great job here on the subject isolation, and looks fantastic. All right, got another one by same guy, Kolme. And this is, wow. So this one actually is chopped off where it is. I'm not just accidentally chopping that off on my live stream, but the face though is just wow. Like the detail on the eye in flight is just incredible. It is so tack sharp here, but it's out of focus back here. So you know that the tracking of this must have been very, very tricky. So very good job on that. The talent required to capture this bird in flight shot, which is phenomenal. And those eyes are just amazing. To me, that's really the coolest part of the image, is those blue, eyelids around that bird. So fantastic shot, and great job, Kolme. All right, we're back in Jonal. I can't remember if Jonal had to leave or if that was someone else, but Jonal Lopez, he's been around for a lot of this chat. He's been in every single category almost, I think. And once again, phenomenal image. This was a finalist in the Bird Burger Photo Awards, and actually it was a placement. I believe this was second place. So fantastic job, Jonal, and not surprised at all by this image. This image is amazing. Personification of attitude, as Mike says. Man, the look over the long-eared owl's shoulder, not great horned, long-eared owl's shoulder is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And yeah, the background is just so nice. It almost feels fiery in the background, the way that it gets dark to light. So that background fade is just phenomenal. And the way that the whole kind of long-eared owl kind of pulls down into a singular point almost like almost like it's like an eyelid, like an eye shaped oval with the points is just phenomenal. I love the shape of this image. It feels like there's just a really nice, unique shape to it and very engaging. So super cool. Got another image by Jonal Lopez here of a red-tailed hawk with some grass in its beak. And I thought this one was just super interesting because of that grass in its beak. Like, you don't really see grass in a red-tailed hawk's beak. And I'm sure it's after something else that must have been in the grass. I'm not sure. Maybe you can let us know, Jonal, why it had grass in its beak. But regardless, it's a very interesting and unique thing to see on a red-tailed hawk. And the color scheme in the background is just phenomenal as well. Beautiful yellow colors in the background. So great job on this one too, Jonal. And we got one more by Jonal Lopez. This is of a still eating worms, or eating worms in the grass. Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of a red-tailed hawk eating worms in the grass. So that's cool. Very cool. Jonal Lopez, once again, with his image of a red-tailed hawk once more, as he's kind of walking towards the camera. I think the accent about this, and the part that I like the most about this, is the way that he has the talon just so prominently sharp out, and just standing out so well in this image. So that's a great aspect about this shot, and very engaging, very intriguing, and the action is super cool. You must have been pretty close up to this bird too. At least that would be my thought looking at the depth of field. But very cool to have that encounter you did with that juvenile, I think. All right, we got Jeffrey Kowalski once again. New fledgling trying out various diet. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, we got Jeffrey Kowalski once again. Mobbish. And he was one of the winners for the popular vote in the creative category, but he has this image here of the cedar waxwing, and wow, what a beautiful offset background, beautiful colors in the background. Yeah, what a great image here as well. I love the subject isolation. I love the mohawk being shown off on the cedar waxwing, and overall this image is just really great from a technical standpoint of color and detail. So great job again, Jeffrey. So many good images today, Jeffrey. All right, so moving on to Chris's image, or Christopher Turbert's image. Christopher Turbert has an image here of a rose-breasted grosbeak, and this is just a beautifully detailed image on such a beautiful bird. This bird is just an amazing bird, and I love the way that the red chest just stands out against the green background. Phenomenal, beautiful, gorgeous, so well isolated from a color, depth of field standpoint, everything. And also what I like is these little fuzzies all over the branch. That's a pretty cool little accent that you probably can't see on YouTube, but looks pretty great. So great job, Christopher. Let's see. Got another one by Christopher Turbert of a palm warbler. And this is a very cool one with the colors in the background just, oh man, mixing in so well. So many streaks of different colors, whether you have the reds or the yellows or the greens and the dark greens. So again, very cool job with the foreground and background mixing in so well. And then the palm warbler just standing out pretty prominently there. So great job again, Christopher. We got Philip Scrimshaw. Philip with his image of a cheetah, it looks like, having caught something out in the wild. Man, this is a cool action moment, undoubtedly. Again, this is like a behavior category. It sounds like we need to be having a behavior category next year, but so cool to see this type of moment going on, and super engaging. And yeah, what a cool thing to see in this image. So I think that's really what pops it out for me and stands it out for me. Got again Philip Scrimshaw with his image of a lion, grayscale. And this is a fantastic image too. I love the way that the mane of this lion is so scraggly and kind of, you know, puffing up, flying up all over the place. And so that's definitely my favorite thing about this image, and it feels very engaging as a portrait and very well isolated. Even though it's all grayscale, he did a good job depth of field wise, kind of centering him and standing him out from a compositional standpoint as well. It's a good job with that, Philip. Got Philip Scrimshaw one more time, and this is with a, I'm not sure what type of cat that is. Me every morning with the mane, yeah. Me this morning because I was sick. You this morning because you're sick too, apparently. So again, Philip Scrimshaw with some type of wildcat, and very cool seeing him peering from around a tree. It looks like he might have maybe has some prey again down here in the bottom of the frame, but very cool to see this shot once again. So very cool images of cats, Philip, and great stuff. All right, we got Chinakan once again, who's in the chat still. And you have an image of a black kite here. Beautiful, beautiful image here. I love just how, I mean, beautiful, majestic this bird looks in this image. And yeah, the mountain that you capture in the background is a really nice touch as well. The way the light is hitting that mountain, but then you got this really high key sky above it. So it's a unique take, looks really nice, and just a beautiful bird. So very good shot, and compliments on that image to knock on. Then we got another one by Elijah Rogers. This is one of a great blue heron. Looking down probably into the water, looking for some prey or something, but fantastic shot here. I love just the mood of this image, and yeah, the way that the eye really pops out, that yellow eye specifically in this image. So great shot there by Elijah, and Elijah has did some great work. And yeah, good thoughts, Mike. Love the thoughts you're sharing about the previous image. All right, we're back to Nathan Watson. Nathan Watson submitted to everything, and he did good too. So we got Nathan Watson with his image of a stilt here. I forget what this type of stilt is called. It's an Australian stilt. But beautiful image here of a stilt walking through this pond or this lake or this shallow water. And what a cool, engaging image here, especially with the pink of the legs popping out and the red of the eye. So super cool to see there, Nathan. All right, we got another image by Nathan Watson, and this is of some type of spoonbill. And this is cool because of like kind of you get like this almost like this drool and water droplets being flung around everywhere. Maybe that's like a string of a plant or something, but just amazing stuff being flung around there. But then the darkness of everything else as opposed to the whiteness of this spoonbill just contrasts them so well, pops them out so well here, and the way that it's so blurred out. With the background and foreground water is just also beautiful, but particularly the way that it's kind of like this ghostly type of look in the water, in the dark water, is really cool to me. So I like that a lot. Good job once again, Nathan. And we have again, someone mentioned it earlier what it was. I believe it was a honey eater, wheat eater, something like that. Can't remember. But this is a beautiful, dark, moody shot by Nathan Watson. A nice little bokeh ball accenting the top of the frame as well. And then the haloed silhouette, especially that tongue sticking out as well, was very cool. So I love that about this shot. This is such a nice, moody shot, and very cool how he was able to capture that. We got another spoonbill right here. We got a fiery orange background. Amazing colors in the background set off from this white bird. This is like definitely an autumn fall image that really brings out those feelings. And once again, you have that spoonbill shaking some water, and you got those water droplets coming off, which are pretty cool. But yeah, overall, amazing image. Once again, really well isolated. I mean, it's just smooth leading up to and behind it. And again, you have that kind of like ghostly looking look of this spoonbill. I love that spoonbill look and the reflections on those two images. So great job, Nathan, and great images. All right, now we got Willie Patton, Willie Patton Gonzalez. And Willie has this image here of a warbler of some sort, and a very nice portrait image here, very close up, engaging, and I love the contrast between the yellow and the green in the background. So great job, Willie, and cool shot. Got another image here by Willie where an osprey is eating a fish. So that's another behavior type shot where it's super cool. And what I really love is, I mean, the osprey's head with the feathers kind of poked up are so cool. Looks like he's got like some spiky hairdo going on. So amazing just portrait body positioning on him. But you also got the meat of the fish in his mouth. And that is cool to be able to see that. Looks like sushi there. So very cool. Very cool to capture that moment. So great capture of an osprey here by Willie, and a good shot. All right, we got Hendrik Geminer, something like that, with his image of a cobalt rumped parakeet. And this is a really interesting image. Mostly for me, what stands out is the intrigue and the interestingness of the green ooze that's coming out of whatever fruit that must be that he's eating. Is super cool to see. So I love seeing just that interesting kind of oozing that's coming out. Kind of looks like he's kind of like little sloppy, little dirty. And chowing down on some good meal. So whatever it is, very cool shot, and great job by Hendrik. And yeah, I'll take that water break. Hold on a second, guys. All right, you guys, I'm about to go on 4 hours of talking nonstop. That's crazy. Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna be honest. I am very exhausted. I'm tired and I'm hungry. I knew this was gonna be a challenge to overcome, but man, this is a lot. Okay, we're about halfway through the portrait category though, so we're about there. So thanks you guys that have been sticking in with me the whole time. So cool. Thank you guys so much for sticking in with me. It's nice having you guys on here, and I'm glad you guys have been enjoying it. So thanks to all who have joined. And yeah, like I said, I'll be continuing to put out Bird Burger content weekly, but working on a video for my main channel, and hopefully that'll be out in 2-3 weeks from now. Would love to create a new film for you guys. So yeah, and also on a side note, before we keep going back into it, if you guys, what a soldier. Yeah, that's what I feel like right now. I feel parched and dehydrated like a soldier. If you guys haven't checked out, I made a video on it, and I'm actually going to make another video on it coming up this week. But on Topaz Photo AI, man, that program is insane, guys. Like, the Topaz denoise sharpen products, Gigapixel were all great too before, but Topaz Photo AI, when they gave me the program to try out and use, and then like trying it out and using it, it just is unbelievable how amazing that program is. So it would really help. Like there's definitely some images in here that I'm like, oh man, this would benefit a lot from Topaz Photo AI. So if you guys want to check that out, I have a video on it already. I'll be coming out with another video this week, but they do have a super good discount, like $65 off. Only through I think October 7th through my links in my description for my video. So make sure you check out that link if you do want to get it, because only through October 7th you'll wind up getting that $65 off. But then after that they're gonna drop their launch promo, and you could still get my 15% off, but it's only like, I forget, like $20 off as opposed to 65. So anyways, want to let you guys know about that, because seriously, that program is amazing. So, and that's not just me selling it, of course. Like, yeah, I mean, as I share transparently, I get affiliate revenue from it too, but it's an amazing program. So highly recommend it. Thanks, Mike. Glad you liked it. Thanks, Lance. Yeah, it's an amazing program. Yeah. And yeah, that's super cool. All right, so let's do this. Let's keep going. So next we got an image again by Nathan Watson. So Nathan Watson's image here, man of the turn. This one did not make the finalists, but man, this one could have. This is an amazing, amazing image. I love the way he captured this single wing kind of like stretched into the frame, but the sharpness of the beak and the feathers on the back of the head are just amazing. So beautiful, beautiful image, and such a nice sharp tack portrait shot, and also pretty creative. So great job, Nathan. Great job, Nathan, for the 15th time or whatever it might be. All right, we got back to Jonal Lopez. Jonal Lopez, who's also had a plethora of amazing images, like 15 amazing images or whatever it may be. But man, this lynx, definitely, I think the only image of a lynx submitted to the whole competition. So super cool image of this lynx here. I love the foreground and the background behind it, and very engaging on the actual subject. So fantastic image here of the lynx, and I love how you're able to capture this. The ears are just amazing on the animal. It just gets me so excited every time. But great shot there, Jonal. Got another one by Jonal of a owl. Let me know what type of owl that is, Jonal. I actually don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe some type of screech owl, I would think. But But yeah, super cool to see. Oh, and my apologies. The last one was a bobcat, apparently, not a lynx. Sorry. Yeah. I think you had that wrong in your title. In the title, you said it was a lynx, but that's all right. Yeah, so the owl, yeah, let me know the owl, Western screech owl, looks like you said. Super cool. I love how he's peering from around the nesting cavity here, and man, those eyes are insane. The thinness of that ring around the eyes is a very cool capture in this because it just accents how big those black pearly eyes are. So very cool shot here, Jonal. Great shot there. But even better, your owl image that made it into the finals, and actually won third place for the portrait category. So congratulations again, Jonal, on getting third place in the portrait category. This image of these two owls, just a beautiful, beautiful image here as well. The shadow that they're kind of coming out of, you just beautifully did that, how they are coming out of the shadow into the light. So great job there. The nesting cavity providing that frame so nicely is beautiful as well. So fantastic job with that, Jonal. Great image. You really killed the competition. So great job, Jonal. Yep, crazy. Cool. Moving on to Grace Zinc Graph. We got an image here. Oh man, I can't remember what type of heron this is. This is not one on our coast, but I want to say, yeah, I'm not going to say. But beautiful image here. I love the bokeh ball colors in the background and then the isolation of the heron as well. This is such a beautiful heron. So beautiful shot here, Grace. Tricolored. I was gonna say tricolored, Mike, and I didn't want to butcher it, so I was like, I'm not gonna say it if I'm not sure about it. But yeah, very cool image of the tricolored heron there. Great shot again, Grace. Grace has another one. She seems to like egrets and herons. That seems to be what she specializes in across all her categories. But this is a white ibis. Again, beautiful image. I really like the way it stands out from the colored background, and the way that she kind of captured it walking across that tree. It's just really beautiful, gorgeous, and a great shot as well. The blue of the eye is so cool against the pink of the white ibis. So very cool capture there, and great job, Grace. All right, we have Dakota Lamberson with her image of a coyote. There keep being more coyotes, so I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, image again of the coyote. And man, this is a cool image in the snow. I love how there's just like a nice white gaps in the tree from the bokeh balls in the forest behind it, but then you have this beautiful angelic fluffy white cloudy ground that this coyote is standing on. It is intense, like Mike said, and what a beautifully engaging image. So I love that about this shot, Dakota, and fantastic image, fantastic shot. Got another one by Dakota Lamberson. This is one of a pelican, I think a brown pelican, and very cool light hitting it at very, very late sunset or very, very early sunrise, where it's just barely above the horizon, and you get a really nice lighting effect on the pelican because of it, where very little else is kind of lit up as prominently as it, and then the pelican is. So very cool image here, and fantastic shot, Dakota, once again. All right, got another one by Dakota Lamberson of two Clark's grebes. And this one is a phenomenal mating display ritual again. So actually kind of like Jonal's images. He's got them on the Western grebes. She's got these of the Clark's grebes, but a different angle from Jonal's too, and a different stylistic approach. This one is very cool as well though. Man, the water is frozen really well with the shutter speed and the action. And those bills, the way they flip up their heads and point up their heads are just so cool. So cool to see this again, Dakota. The action is really what sells this image for me. And what a beautiful, phenomenal image. And Dakota Lamberson again, with pretty much the same, just slightly different image. They're a little bit more upright on this one as opposed to the last one, but very similar image, same thing, same compliments, and what a beautiful image, Dakota. So great job. And Dakota again with the Clark's grebes mating ritual. She must have been having a day. Very, very cool here. I love, again, the whole capture and the way she captured it. This is cool because it kind of shows a little bit more of the landscape and kind of the wake of destruction they leave behind them when they do this intense mating ritual that they do. So that is kind of cool to see. And I like how you get that side angle on their flipped up beaks. So very cool once again, Dakota, and amazing sets of images. All right, we got another one by Dakota Lamberson, and this is a great blue heron once again. Very late sunset or very early sunrise where you get that really nice lighting angle, and everything else is really moody. And personally, I really think one of the biggest accents and draws to the creativity of this image is the pop of orange right back here. That really helps to sell it, and the way that the heron happens to kind of be looking in that direction, at least for me, kind of makes it feel like there's something more going on to the story of this image. So very cool, Dakota, and fantastic image there. All right, we got back to Jonal Lopez. Jonal, you are a master. All right, cool. So apparently this was the young bobcat is what Jonal was saying. Latin name. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just saw in the chat previously you said Latin name is Lynx rufus. Okay, so that's why I thought it was a lynx just because of the title there. And then I see. So yeah, young bobcat again. This one is really cool. I actually like this one personally a lot more than your other one, Jonal. And that's just because I think you get a cooler color shade here. Like you get a color contrast between like this green and like this pinkish rusty orange almost. I don't know how to describe that color, but I really like that color contrast in the background. And the bokeh balls feel really nice back here behind that bobcat. So I really like that personally, a little bit more than your other bobcat one. And yeah, the engaging look here again is just phenomenal. Amazing over the shoulder kind of look. And yeah, what an image. Beautiful, fantastic image. So great job, Jonal. All right, we got another one by Jonal Lopez. I think this is your last set of images coming up, but maybe I'm wrong. Another one of Jonal Lopez, and this one, oh man. I'm not sure which one this is. You'll have to let me know, Jonal. But this is cool. Does he have like a hedgehog caught in his grip or in his mouth or something? I'm not actually quite sure, but that is cool. That is a unique prey that you see caught in the mouth there. So that's very cool. What I also really like about this image that's very, very, very powerful and you did a fantastic job of is you have a good amount of blur, motion blur. You have a slight amount of motion blur going on down here, but you captured him just perfectly in focus. So that was a very creative and skilled kind of capture there, the way that you did that. So fantastic job there, Jonal, with getting that. And good job on just the difficulty of capturing that type of an image. So great job there. Love that about this image. Very creative and a very cool moment. Once again, very cool behavior. All right, we got another one by Jonal Lopez. I think this may be his last one. Gray fox with squirrel, sounds like, for that previous one. So this one is, I believe, could be a juvenile bald eagle, or it could be a golden eagle. Golden eagle, I would assume. Yeah, this is a great one again, Jonal. I think what really sells this one for me is the pose you got head on. That is amazing. That is amazingly symmetrical, amazingly engaging. And having him come right at you like that must have just been an incredible moment. So that's an exciting moment where you're just looking at it and you're like, oh my goodness, this is happening, and it happened. So very cool to see there, Jonal, and congratulations on that one. All right, we got another one by Eric Anderson. So Eric Anderson was one of the competitors that won the popular vote for the new photographers category, and Eric Anderson got this one of a rough here. And this is a really cool one just because of the funniness of the bird. Man, roughs crack me up the way they look. And great kind of just bird here capture, and love this image and the way that he captured it. So good, technically sound image, good composition, and great photo, Eric. Yeah, the degree of getting that eagle in focus was probably very difficult. So great job on that, Jonal, the previous one. All right, we got Eric Anderson again. So we got this image here of a green violet tear. This is a fantastic looking portrait image where you just get that beautiful purple rolling off the teardrop of the eye. I love that about this violet tear, and yeah, what a beautiful portrait image. Very well captured on the subject in terms of getting the colors, the lighting, and all of that just looks super great. So great job to Eric on that image. And Eric has another hummingbird image. This one's beautiful. I love the light in this one specifically. You got some really nice big large bokeh balls and some nice lighting going on, and a nice color fade between the yellow green and the deeper green in this image. So beautiful. And even though the bird is color meshed with the background, still feels very nicely isolated because the depth of field is so dramatic. So great job here, Eric. Fantastic shot. All right, we got Don Nguyen, I believe is how you pronounce the last name. Beautiful image here as well. I think this is a Cooper's, it looks like, from the rounded tail at the bottom, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, beautiful image here, Don. I like the detail that you were able to capture in that Cooper's, as well as the background. Looks nice with that cloud in the sky. So great image here, Don. Another one by Don Nguyen. Is a pine siskin. Very cool pose, great body positioning on the pine siskin, and very nice showing off that little accent on the wing. And I like how subtly the pine siskin really matches the accent color of the doled out greenish brown in the background. It very much matches the pine siskin's natural color scheme as well. So I like that about this image, that thoughtfulness, and yeah, great job on this image as well, Don. All right, we got Lee Dombeck. Lee Dombeck with his image of a common loon. And this image is really cool, but really the part that sells this image is this little feature right here. You got a really nice in-focus insect landed on the loon right there, right next to his eye. So cool, so disturbing. It's like makes you just want to scratch your eye because it feels that real, you know? So very cool little capture there. And great job with that little attention to detail by Lee. So fantastic job, Lee. All right, Andrew McDonald. Andrew McDonald's in our chat. I think he submitted 6 images. So Andrew McDonald's got some great stuff. This was Andrew's image, grayscale image of I believe this is a leopard. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, but a leopard hanging off a tree, taking an afternoon snooze probably. Super cool scene and environment set up here. So great job on that shot, Andrew. Glad you're still around. And yeah, love this image. But even better, I like Andrew's next image more. This was what I told him was my favorite image of the event that he submitted. And man, this image definitely could have been a portrait finalist, but the competition was so high. But this hyena is just incredible. The detail on this hyena is just incredible. It was the only hyena image we got into the event. But what I'm amazed about too is how you got this beautiful blue background in a setting that you wouldn't often picture as having a blue background. Like you don't picture safaris having that blue type of background. So beautiful shot and capture here, beautiful isolation and engagement, and really is the definition of a portrait shot. And then the little details in all of the like gnats, I would believe that those are on the face of the hyena. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that is really cool. So great job there, Andrew, and amazing shot. You're on the ground shooting up. Wow, okay, that's cool. You must have been pretty dang low. Surprised those hyenas didn't eat you. Yeah, Andrew's got some cool stuff on YouTube, guys. Make sure you go check him out if you haven't before. He has one where he does safari. So Andrew actually does wildlife photography, I believe full time. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, but you work for a safari company and some other things. But he was doing a safari where their car died and they were right underneath a lion that was like crawling up a tree and overhead over them, and their car was dead. Yeah, that was a pretty dang interesting vlog. So yeah, Andrew has some cool stuff to say the least. Make sure you go check out his stuff. And yeah, very cool stuff. Good job, Andrew. We got some more by you though, so let's keep going. We got a male lion with the mane. Very, very cool, engaging image here. This feels like fine art, most definitely. Very smooth and glassy all behind him and in front of him. And great capture here. So fantastic capture here, very engaging. The symmetry is just beautiful in this image as well. Great job, Andrew. We got another one here by Andrew McDonald of a lion peering through the jungle. I love the foreground in this image. I think that's my favorite part of what sets this image out, is it really feels like the lion's hidden back in there, and gives kind of a story and a context to it. So I love that about this shot, the deep kind of dark moodiness and grains of this image, and great job there, Andrew. Man, this image feels like it's straight out of a magazine. So great job here, Andrew, with this lion, grayscale lion image. This one feels very engaging, and I don't know if it was the way you edited it. I would assume so, but the way you edited it to where it kind of felt like it was a little bit more like the sunshine was coming down from this angle right onto the face of the male lion feels very powerful and very striking and very engaging. So great job again, and the detail you captured in it is phenomenal. So great job with that black and white lion image. And Andrew's last image is out of a female lion, and this was a beautiful image. I love the composition in this one particularly because you have the thirds of the frame over here, you have the thirds of the frame over here, and it's very technically sound. Yeah, just a great job there. Again, the lighting is just gorgeous. You seem to be able to get really good lighting in a lot of these shots. And so great job on getting the lighting captured here, getting nice down in eye level. Again, I'm not sure how they didn't eat you, but great job there. And yeah, great job on capturing Mufasa, as Lance said. Or actually, I guess that would have been for the other one, but I'm seeing it late, but still. Anyways, good job, Andrew. Thanks for participating. Cool. So let's move on to Grant Webster. So Grant, again, was the guy who was on for the popular vote category. Or he was the winner of the popular vote category and was on, and he joined us for the beginning of this live. So in case you guys weren't aware, we had a live that was scheduled. We went live, we went like 30 minutes into it, and then it crashed and we had to reboot up on a second live. So make sure you go and check that out. The first part out if you haven't already. And also we had a really cool podcast. I brought on a special guest, the popular vote winner for the whole Bird Burger event, Grant Webster, who he took this photo, and you'll see his photo in a second that he won with. But had a really cool interview with him, and really enjoyed getting to have him on. So yeah, good stuff there. And great stuff. Hopefully those are some amazing lion, hyena, and leopard photographs. You're right. This Lance is a green heron, so I can see why you'd think it was a night heron, but yeah, it's a green heron. Yeah, great image here by Grant Webster of the green heron. I love how you can see the reflection in the dark and moody water. This whole image is just really moody, and I love it so much. So great shot there by Grant. I almost said Lance. By Grant. I was going to give you credit for his image, Lance. Got to be careful. I'll get sued over here. So yeah, great shot, Grant. I love the lighting in this image, and fantastic image. What I like even more though, and what was absolutely your guys' favorite popular vote image of the Bird Burger Photo Awards, was Grant Webster's image of the opossum. What an incredible image. So we interviewed him at the beginning again of the first part of this live on it, and what a beautiful image, man. The way he captured that background was just incredible. And yeah, the way he caught the possum still exposed so well was just amazing. And that portrait engaged look is amazing, and the way he's gripping it and kind of staring at him as a photographer is just absolutely incredible. Feels like you're kind of in a mystical, like dark kind of setting and mood, and almost like a movie. Feels very cinematic, and great shot again, Grant. He shared the story of how he captured the shot at the beginning. So make sure, again, if you want to hear the story on how he captured the shot and how he did it, you check that out. All right, moving on. We got one more by Grant Webster, and this was of a wood duck eating something that looks like muck. So pretty funny, pretty gross here, but yeah, very cool to see regardless. And man, the yellows behind the wood duck are just unbelievable. It's so cool how he captured that bright yellow color because of the reflection, but he didn't get that lighting on the wood duck. So it feels very unique and interesting and super pastel-y because of that. So very interesting and unique shot there, Grant. All right, now we're to Crystal Miglior. Crystal was one of the winners also in one of the categories, not in this portrait category, but in Birdscape she won second place, and creative she won third place, but she submitted some to the portrait too. This was her image of a Canada goose. I love how this common bird is made to look so cool in this environment, and it feels so much more epic because of the sunset background and these this dark setting of trees behind it. So fantastic image by Crystal, and what a cool image. And it also feels like it's maybe a little bit of a wider angle than typical. So cool shot here, Crystal. Got another one by Crystal Miglior of a warbler. I believe this is, oh man, a worm-eating warbler, maybe. I can't remember. That's probably wrong, so someone's probably going to correct me. But yeah, this one hanging upside down, and super cool image here, super cool pose going on here. I think that's really what sells the image for me, as well as all the kind of the stringy. I think those are cobwebs kind of going on in the image, or maybe that's just the kind of the stringiness of the actual tree bark. But very cool. So very good shot, Crystal, and great image there. Got one more by Crystal Miglior, and this is an image of a red-tailed hawk, I believe, and staring down at her. So very, very cool setting in this kind of dark, moody forest, where you kind of feel like you're almost being preyed upon. So that look is really what sells the image from the red-tailed hawk. That look is so intimidating and so ferocious, and it feels very much like you're almost its prey. So it kind of puts you in the shoes and imagines the stories really well. So great job there, Crystal. Smiling hawk. It kind of does look like it's smiling there too, Mike and Chinokin, like you guys are saying. Yeah, great stuff. All right, moving on. We got Krister Nyquist. Probably pronounced that wrong again. I think he had one other image to a different category, but beautiful image here of the puffin, so well detailed of the Atlantic puffin, and a great image and shot here. I really love the detail. I mean, it's definitely a nice tight close-up portrait shot, and fits the definition well. So great shot, Krister. All right, now we have Suzanne Plunk, I believe is how you would pronounce her last name. She made the finals with this photo. Excuse me. She made the finals with this photo, and this was a beautiful photo, and I love this shot. I mean, man, not only is this an amazing shot from a color aspect, depth of field, like all these different things, but she also was able to get it so nicely in flight. I mean, the species is amazing. Getting it in flight is difficult. She did it so well. And then she got so many amazing, beautiful colors here. So this was an amazing image. No surprise it made the final. So great job again, Suzanne. Yeah, this was such a good one. Yeah, such a great one. One of the judges' favorites as well. High degree of difficulty. Yeah, owls in flight are really tough to capture. Beautiful stuff. And then she also had one more. This also made the finals by Suzanne. And this was another image of a great gray owl. And wow, what an image this is. Where she got the vole in its beak. And it's about to munch down on it. Wow, what a cool attention to detail in this image. And again, the colors are phenomenal, but man, it was just, must have been an amazing moment that she got to have with the great gray owl. So beautiful stuff here. Can't believe she got this moment, and it was super cool to see. Definitely a behavior type shot again, where it's like this would have been right up there. And lastly, Suzanne got one more with the great gray owl. This one didn't make the finals, but this one definitely could have as well because it's so good. But this one I like. It kind of feels more like a ghost in this image because of the coolness and the contrast between the warm and coolness of this image. And it kind of feels like it's hovering there in place with its wing positioning. So very cool there. Feels like it's kind of ghostly. And I love this image. I think actually personally, I mean, it's so hard to say, but the vole image is just so cool in a different type of way. But I think this might be my favorite of hers in Birds of Flight, just because of the way that she captured it looking so mystical there. So very cool shot there by Suzanne. And yeah, she seems to be able to have a great gray owl location. I would love to photograph one someday too. All right, Steve Howard. Steve Howard with his image of a kingfisher. Forget what type of kingfisher this is, but beautiful shot here of a kingfisher posing, looking off to the side, kind of on an interesting little man-made perch right there. And very cool image here as well. Well done. Definitely fits the description of a portrait, and great job here, Steve. All right, and now it's Romer, back to Romer Antrobus. Same warbler as before, I would assume. The same scene, just a different shot, different pose. And this was a cool one as well. Again, the detail in the warbler is just incredible, and the coolness of the shapes of the leaves, yet still being not distracting because they're enough out of focus, but still being able to tell their shapes is very cool. And yeah, looks really great. I like how he's, it's kind of a unique positioning looking down into the corner of the frame, and quite a cool image. So great shot again, Romare. All right. We got Jeffrey Weimer with his image of a ruby crowned kinglet fluffing up its little crest. Super cool image here. This is an image that, like, man, I see ruby crowned kinglets so much, but I never seem to be able to get them good shots with their crests up. So this is like an image that I'm like, I should have taken this image already, but I just haven't. So great job again, Jeffrey. Beautiful image. And yeah, I love the composition with the thirds framing on the top and the right third, and the details that you get on the pine branch that he's on. Yeah, beautiful image here of the ruby crown kinglet. Great detail, and I love how the body fades out by the back of it. So great job there, Jeffrey, and great image. Nice having you on, Fenmith, and yeah. We are actually almost done, guys. We got about 10 images left, I think. Yeah, about 10 images left. So we're about to wrap up. Thank goodness. I'm ready to stop talking. If my wife was here, man, I would have talked her ear off already. She would have just told me to shut up by now. No, just kidding. She's so nice and so loving. But man, yeah, I do not. It's funny because I talk a lot because this is the nature of what I do now. But I mean, when you get me excited about something, I'll talk a lot about it. But I definitely don't talk that much to people that I know in person. Like, I definitely am one of the quieter ones around. But you would never guess that by watching me on a live stream like this. So anyways, moving on. Got 10 more left. Let's power through them, guys. Whew. Okay, Jeffrey Weimer again. That of a hooded merganser. Man, what a beautiful bird. I love hooded mergansers. I think they're one of the coolest looking birds, waterfowl we have here in North America. Amazing shot here. Very well isolated. And I like how you kind of get this, you know, the brown all around it. And then you just have this black and white contrasted hooded merganser in the frame as well. Very well done. Very good portrait shot. Good job, Jeffrey. All right, we got Stephen Parlinfine with an image of the loon. I think he submitted one of a loon into a different category too. I might be wrong though. Yeah, great image here of a common loon with a chick on its back. So cool to see that. And yeah, very cool to see this image. Yeah, I think the accent of this image is really the carrying the chick on its back. Again, a great behavior being shown and displayed in this image. And the body positioning and the head turns for both of them are great. So great job, Stephen. Another one by Stephen Parlinfine of a scarlet tanager. Scarlet tanager, beautiful bird. Man, this focus, he must have been so close up because it's so blurred by the time you get just even to the shoulder, it's already blurred of this bird. But beautiful, engaging image of the scarlet tanager. So engaging and yeah, super cool to see. Probably one of the coolest things I've seen in nature. I don't know if that was in reference to the loon one or this one, but yeah, loon one, super cool to see in nature too. I've never got to see that. And then this scarlet tanager is an amazing bird. I've never gotten to see either. So yeah, but amazing shot. Great job, Stephen. And yeah, great image. All right, we got Jeffrey Weimer once again. So we got Jeffrey Weimer with his image of, I believe this is like a bighorn sheep, I think they're called. So super cool to see this image, Jeffrey. I love this image. I think this is my favorite. You actually have 3 more bighorn sheep images coming up soon that you guys are about to see. But this is my favorite of yours because this feels like it's like if we would have had a birdscape category, but for other wildlife, this would have been a perfect image for that submission because this shows a beautiful mountainous snowy scenery behind him with, or maybe that's salty rock, I don't know, white rock, but beautiful mountainous scenery behind him with him on the edge of this kind of like this little dirt mound. And so beautiful image here, Jeffrey, and beautiful scene, and the body positioning and pose here is just phenomenal as well. So great job, Jeffrey. Yeah, the rocky plains are awesome in this shot, Paul. All right, we got another one by Jeffrey. Jeffrey Weimer with the bighorn sheep again, I believe. Man, such a cool image. This one is amazingly symmetrical on the subject itself. What a cool image, super engaging. And my favorite little detail and touch about this is like, man, you get to really notice how beat up these horns get from what they do and everything. Like, look at right here. You see this, it's like broken off at the end of it on this end too. So cool. Really cool to see that. That kind of what its horns look up like, so well detailed. Sorry, I was stumbling over my words there. They're so well detailed, and a very, very cool image there. So great shot, Jeffrey, and amazing. This definitely could have been a finalist as well. Yeah, the damage on the horns is amazing. Cool, this one as well. It must have been the same one. It looks like it has the same damage on the horns, but super cool pose once again. I like the thirds framing here and how it's looking off to the side. Again, fantastic image. The light is super cool too. Sometimes, like this post sunrise like type of lighting where it's like not super warm, but like still kind of warm, looks really nice in scenarios like this, like a wheat field especially. So great shot again. Yeah, super majestic, like you guys are saying in the chat. Great thoughts, great stuff in the chat. All right, and the last bighorn sheep, one by Jeffrey Weimer, is this one here. Again, nice thirds framing, pretty kind of close to being head on here, and fantastic image here as well. So Jeffrey, just solid images of those bighorn sheep. You really wrapped it up well with those 4 images, and fantastic shots. So great job. All right, let's see. So we got Robbie Noel, I believe. This is I think this is a Buick's Wren, but I might be wrong about that. But very cool pose, kind of posed hanging off the side of the branch, the stick that he's on, and very, very awesome pose. I think the body positioning is really what sells it. It feels like he's pouncing, ready to pounce, kind of very agile, and a very cool pose going on here. So great job on that. All right, and we got one more by Robbie Noel. And this is one of, let's see, is that a red-shouldered hawk? It's hard to tell from behind, actually. I'm not quite sure. But beautiful hawk image. Once again, colors are great in this image. Very cool lighting on the hawk. And yeah, love this image as well. Very cool to see, and great capture on the hawk, Robbie. So fantastic images. And yeah, fantastic images submitted to the portrait category. Cool. All right, you guys. Well, that is it. Wow, that was long. That was pretty crazy, but I am thankful for you guys sticking in here with me. I don't know if I will ever do a 4-hour long live again. That is ridiculous. So I'm tired, but hopefully I was able to do just a slight amount of justice to every photo submitted to the event. I mean, you guys had so many good photos. I wish I could talk for days about each of them, but as you can tell from it already being 4 hours, I tried to just limit my thoughts to super quick thoughts because it just would have taken forever. But super appreciate you guys. Super appreciate you guys who stuck in with us throughout the whole thing, especially. Yeah, definitely we'll be getting some good food soon. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Just a reminder, if you guys do want to take a mentorship with me, I offer them on my website. For those of you who are interested, I know that after the awards, I got quite a bit of people asking about that stuff like that. So you guys can take a mentorship with me. I work with you one-on-one to improve your wildlife photography, and it also helps support me drastically in this channel. Again, I have my memberships. If you guys just want to do a simple $2, $2 a month, you can cancel anytime on my main channel. It would just mean the world to me if you guys went over there and supported me and helped encourage me in that way, and help get me going on my memberships over there. So thank you so much. And yeah, and we will definitely be coming back next year. So one last thing, we will definitely be coming back next year. So if you guys enjoyed this year's Bird Burger Photo Competition, the Bird Burger Photo Awards, we will be coming back next year 100% for sure. I've already started to plan out some things, and we already have people that are wanting to actually help out with the event financially because they liked it that much, which was super cool and encouraging for me to see. And then we also have some brands that are still, again, interested in going going on next year for it. So we will be back next year. Should be even better next year. Gonna try to do an even bigger event, and it should be super exciting. And one last thing, we will be interviewing the Bird Burger Photographer of the Year this year. So Nathan Watson, we're going to be interviewing him on a podcast episode that's releasing in 2 weeks. He actually just recorded it with him this week. It'll be releasing in 2 weeks from now. And so make sure you guys stay around, check out that, because you'll get to hear Nathan's thoughts on what he did, how he took a lot of the images that he takes, in his thought process in wildlife photography. It was really cool to hear. I loved my conversation with him. So anyways, yeah, thank you guys again for all that joined. And it was an honor getting to have you guys on with me. And yeah, I will be seeing you guys around on the next Bird Burger episode. So if you enjoyed the content, I'd be honored if you subscribe below. Check out my main channel as well in the description. And I'll see you guys around next time.